Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
There's always just that active when defenders have been given like. There's always just that active when defenders have been given like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Bro. Come on.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Bro. Come on.
I'm alive, people. Deluded, I'm back again. Now, first things first, sorry for any technical difficulties. I've had a bit of a difficult morning, better yet, people. I don't know why, but, you know, StreamYard and YouTube are acting. YouTube locked me out of my account. StreamYard duplicated 2 of the streams. Like, I can see it in front of me. A lot of people are trapped in another one. Technology in it, temperamental on the best of days. But, you know, if that's all I've got to be vexed about in my life, then it's all right. As usual, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. We had 17 likes on that stream. Can we get that back in? One love to the Twitch gang. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and obviously where it concerns, in some cases, good night. I hope you all had a good Champions League watch along with myself. And if you didn't yesterday, I hope you watched the Champions League. Obviously, you know, I wouldn't say as a direct consequence of losing to Dynamo Zagreb, Thomas Tuchel has lost his job, really. And that, you know, clubs don't do things knee-jerk. You don't give my man 200 odd million to spend and then sack him with, what, 6 games or so? You know, really, without it being a methodical plan. And you know what? Them rumblings have been there with Tommy Tuchel. You know, the football is a bit stale. It is a bit overcomplicated. I don't think a single player is excelling. That being said, I do think it is harsh, but football is harsh, really and truly. And that's what Chelsea do, really. You know, we don't think it's surprised any Chelsea fan to see that he won the Champions League. And even when he won the Champions League, that he could be sacked. End of the day, results aren't quite there. You know, they're closer to the United, Spurs and Arsenal than they are Chelsea. I mean, than they are City and probably Liverpool, even with Liverpool's form. That tells you everything. And now I'd say the Tommy Tuchel, I mean, the post-Roman Abramovich era at Chelsea's truly beginning now, obviously, isn't it? Spare a thought for Aubameyang, and he said he wants to play with the gaffer and he's gone, but you know, he's a professional footballer. He knows how turbulent this is. Apparently, Thomas Tuchel took Chelsea to 4 out of 5 cup final competitions in which he managed the club. He has reached 8 finals of the last 9 cups across 2 clubs, including 2 out of 3 Champions League finals, which, you know, a bit harsh. And I don't know who they're going to get. Apparently, Chelsea are expected to approach Brighton later to speak to Graham Potter. Apparently, he's got a £16 million compensation. There are rumours of Zidane and Pochettino as well, people. So I do expect Chelsea to move very quickly, but who they get, I don't know. So yeah, man, they sacked him. It's quite ruthless, really and truly. So yeah, big up you lot. Let me know your thoughts on that and everything else, people. So it is what it is. One love to you lot tuned in. You know that Tommy Tuchel pack is live and kicking for the culture. But yeah, obviously, you know, it probably took people by surprise that Chelsea could have given him a bit more paragraphs. Said it on Chelsea's website. They did him a bit dirty, you know. He won your Champions League and that man gave 3 paragraphs of their sentence. On behalf of everyone at Chelsea, the club would like to place on record its gratitude to Thomas and his staff for all their efforts during the time with the club. Thomas will rightly have a place in Chelsea's history after winning the Champions League, the Super Cup and World Club Cup in his time here. As the new ownership group reaches 100 days since taking over the club, which again tells you everything, and as it continues its hard work to take the club forward, the new owners believe it is the right time to make anyways. Chelsea coaching staff will take charge of the team for training and preparation for upcoming matches as the club moves swiftly to appoint a new head coach. There will be no further comment until a head coach appointment is made, people. So there you have it. Conte's moaning about the fixture calendar list, and I think this was a good point. 7 games into the new season with high player turnover, 5 points off the top of the league with 99 points available. Lost the first game in the Champions League. They've qualified for the Champions League in the season. The owner got literally sanctioned and they sack him. I mean, that is great and none of that is wrong, but has evolved the side to the degree. I can't ever call a Champions League campaign fluky because you win in the Champions League, but that was Bandulu and that probably papered over the cracks. I don't think he's doing enough in the attacking sense. I think his insistence on playing the back three at times, it should be used, but it's kind of crippled Chelsea. So at the end of the day, a ruthless. Smash the like button, people. Football is a ruthless business. Only time will tell, but I admire Chelsea's proactive approach versus waiting. What they do next is the most important. This has been brewing for a hot minute too, in my opinion. Again, there's too much money being spent. Again, there are fallout rumors coming out about how the Tommy Tuchel and the new ownership didn't see eye to eye, especially around the pursuit of Ronaldo. And I think it was the beginning of the end because Thomas Tuchel seems to be ripping into his players, like absolutely ripping into his players when they don't get a result. People, really, he's been drawing them out to high heavens, and he's fully justified to do that in his mind. The latest game where they lost to the Croatians, Dynamo Zagreb, he said, "I didn't see it coming. Obviously, I was in the wrong movie." A clearly emotional Thomas Tuchel said after the game, I thought that the last game helped us. I thought the team was prepared. I mean, nah, bro, you had to do the jammy thing against West Ham. West Ham. Matisse dares talk on Gabriel like Uncle Koulibaly's not getting ripped by some part-timers. Allow it, bro. But anyways, any of that. Again, Thomas Tuchel has been sacked, people. He's left Stamford Bridge after 7 games into the season. He was appointed in January 2021. And, in September 2022, he's gone. Football is a ruthless business. Currently, Chelsea are 6th in the Premier League and they play Fulham on Sunday. I don't know who will be in charge of that, but it is what it is in that regards, people. One love to you lot tuned in. 24 likes. Keep running that up, people. Very appreciated. Roll another one, DG. Man like Tommy Tuchel is out of here, bro. Conte mashed him up. Man are getting mashed up by them Leeds regions and that. Of course you're going to get finessed. What do you mean? I do admire the ruthlessness because some clubs might persist with certain managers and technical directors until it really gets collapsed. There's no guarantee whether this is the right approach from Chelsea, but, it's better to try and cure it proactively rather than waiting. And for me, I don't believe this is a knee-jerk. Yes, money's been spent early in the season. You never know what could happen, but this has been brewing. I think last season, you look at Chelsea, there was, I wouldn't say rumors to sack Tuchel or really evidence because they got third, but they're not getting closer to where they need to be. And if Spurs and Arsenal were better, Spurs got top 4, maybe Chelsea wouldn't have got Champions League football as well. But yeah, man, we found a way to be worse than them, really. So it is what it is. Tuchel has been sacked. Like I said, apologies for the technical difficulties at the start of this live stream, but we move some more, people. So yeah, one love to you lot tuned in. It is what it is in that regards. So yeah, moving on. What has Mudruk moved you, DG? Nah, man, I can't lie. Obviously, gassing it in the title a bit. I like what I see from him. Obviously, man, don't really know him like that, but there's no wingers in the team. If the scouts have done their due diligence on this brother, then he looks kind of lit in it. Why not? You move for these brothers now, and at the risk of issues around copyright and things like that, people, let's take a risk. In fact, let's make it slightly smaller. Let's try bypass the YouTube stuff. In fact, nah, you've got to do this thing right. But what we got to do is cut off the sound. So let's see what Mudruk was bringing to the table. 2-minute thing there. We need a utility forward that can play out wide and up front. We also need a defensive mid to challenge Partey, not back up. I hear that. One love to you lot. Couldn't even make it to Thanksgiving. He got done dirty. What? This Mudruk brother, what's he bringing to the table? I didn't watch this game, but man, I'm gassing it based on the first couple. Obviously, I can't draw conclusions on 2 minutes, but he can play across the front positions. Decent little dribbler, link-up play, scope to get better resale value. I mean, the touch is a bit bad. Big up, Shakhtar, man. First game, fresh home in the Champions League after what's going on. Strong dribbler. You're not going to get this much space in the press. 26 likes. You lot of boy in it on YouTube, man. Twitch gang. That's why I prefer you. All right. That's what their man was saying, 35, 40 million. What are they going to say now? I think he needs to protect the ball a bit better though in the Prem. But we could do a lot worse. Is despite that. Bit of a hype job on social media, innit, people, really? But yeah, man, bring my man to the carpet if you can, really. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Big up you lot in your numbers. We sacked Tommy, tactical Tommy. Yeah, bro. It's peak in the dunya. You lot are gassing it. All right, man. Less of that RP Tuchel. The man's still alive and breathing. Let's remember he's a human being. He's just lost a football job. Hit and run guy. It's too late for that. We'll have to go again in January. Big up DG. I hope this will end up being good news for Arsenal's top 4 pursuit. All right, man. I was going to do a workout. Who are we going to sign, though? I don't know. But right now, it's not the time for transfers, slyly. Todd saw the Matisse breakdown and had to step in. Tuchel is the middleman, took over Lampard's big spending and not getting any benefits of new owners' big spending. That's not true, really, is it? You know, man got to buy Lukaku. He got to spend a bag this summer. There, obviously, he was crippled when, you know, Roman Abramovich, obviously with the sanctions and that, but it's not exactly true. Big up DG. There could have been rumblings from when they lost to Madrid last season. 16 million. Chelsea weren't anywhere near their best team in the Champions League when they won it, and the lack of quality has caught up. I hear that. Potter would be a very heat of the moment choice. He's had years to build that Brighton team in his image. I can't see Chelsea giving him that type of time, and that's ruthless. That's one thing I admire about Chelsea is that they give you time, but you don't have time. When things are looking booked, it's getting nipped in the bud. I always thought Arteta goes before Tommy Tuchel. Nah, because the one thing Arteta's got, he's in this luxury position. He's the head coach. The standards at Arsenal are not the same as Chelsea, and it kills me to say it. It's not, you know, like Arteta. He's got a lot of faults. He's got a lot of question marks, but he's got a lot of good things. There has been periods in last season and during his tenure where he could have been clipped, really and truly. And at other clubs, he might not have had that luxury. This is why, as much as I like Arteta, I'm very harsh on him because, you know, you can't have it both ways. You can't have all this potential, and when we win, get your plaudits. When things go wrong, like at United, not ask question marks. And again, you know, for right now, let's be honest. Arsenal is more beneficial for Arteta than Arteta is for Arsenal, and I'm not trying to disrespect him. I like how he's changed the culture of the club. He made a big song and dance about patterning the atmosphere. You know, he's weeded out certain players. He's brought some good players in. You know, obviously he finished back-to-back 8th. We finished 5th. There's some positivity, but at the same time, he's harshly, he is a novice manager. You know, he did get a job that he was underqualified for. You know, he's a baby in terms of managerial. He's just touched 40. You know, he's not the days of Alex Ferguson and Wenger and them things there are gone. So he's gonna have a good career. I have no doubt. But my problem is are we gonna benefit, or is he gonna learn everything here and then say, oh, when I did that, Arsenal didn't work. Let me go and do this. Do you get it? Because again, this is someone that, again, depending on how he develops, he was talked about being groomed into the Pep's replacement, and there's all the other things. And as much as he's got admiration for Arsenal, was a former player, you know, he's born in Spain. He's played for Arsenal. He's worked with City. Obviously, Rangers and PSG are close to his heart. It's very unlikely he's going to be a manager for 10 plus years at this football club, really. Even though if you was to look at it right now and you looked at all the managers in the league who could probably be long term for all the dynamics, yeah, you know, Kroenke versus Abramovich / Todd Burhi is very different dynamics, really, and a lot of other clubs on the same ish, man. So yeah, man, good talking points. It's defo Potter. It's 16 million clause. They'll have to give him time, really and truly. And for Graham Potter, I mean, I don't think he would turn down the Chelsea job. I think he would listen to what they have to say. I mean, London aspect, more money, you know, respectfully to Brighton. Chelsea are more likely to win things, you know, obviously get the managerial thing on your CV, but you can't dislodge stability, really and truly. If he wants to forfeit stability and what he's doing at Brighton and the expectation and go to Chelsea, then he's no idiot. He knows it's ruthless. Graham Potter is linked with everything. Anytime the Arsenal job looks shaky, Potter's name is there. Anytime Spurs, well, prior to Conte, his name is there. And any other job, you know, if Ten Hag was to get up tomorrow and leave United for whatever bewildering reason, Potter's name would be there. Pochettino's name is also being floated about, as it always is. I don't know if Chelsea would prefer Pochettino or Potter. I'd probably prefer I do like Poch, you know, but I'd probably prefer Graham Potter, really. I do think he plays more exciting football, really. And, you know, Chelsea, obviously, they got the Cobham lads. I think he knows how to source players in with Caicedo. They know how to keep revitalizing the squad. He knows how to get a tune out of players that are not necessarily known. And, I think he's... I wouldn't say Poch's football is negative, but I just feel it's a bit similar to Tuchel's, really. Very different, but very similar in many aspects. So yeah, Arteta was never going up before that, man. Really, he's just signed a new contract and things. I mean, if we don't get Champions League football, then legit questions need to be asked of Mikel Arteta, rightly so. In the same way, if we did turn around and get Champions League football, that is the expectation. But done your thing in it. Sack them all. You'd only sack him if you had a better replacement waiting on the sidelines. Exactly. You know, they probably again. This is a billion pound company and things like that. You know, it's not a need. It could very well be a knee jerk thing because it looks like they're playing FIFA manager mode with all the players. They're trying to buy Latvia after he's probably not been able to unpack his stuff at Southampton in his new crib. But I don't think it's knee jerk. I think there's been concerns. If the fans have had concerns about Tuchel last season, I think them concerns have happened with the season. And I do think in hindsight, he might have been on a tight rope and they were looking to pull the trigger. And obviously this is that. But it could be worse. Thomas Tuchel leaves winning, you know, getting to finals, winning Champions League, put a lot more respect on his name versus the ones at PSG. Probably got a nice, decent compensation parting gift because did he not just sign a new deal not too long ago at Chelsea? So it could be worse. Unfortunately, he's got his life. He'll get another job. Come on now. Tuchel will get another job. Obviously, you know, I don't know what's going to happen at Juventus with Allegri and all these sort of things, but any top job that becomes available, Thomas Tuchel will find himself within that. Really. Todd is moving mad, DG. Is this the earliest Chelsea have ever sacked a manager? I don't know. Bro, he was cold, but now my man's price gone up. It's long. I don't think he's coming to Arsenal. I don't think we're getting him. Yo, DG, you nervous for tonight? Well, we're playing tomorrow, so I don't know about that. It's Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. So I would say no, man. It's just enjoying football, really and truly. It's a bit harsh, man. You know, I don't know why. They've done people dirty, man. I've got two streams going at the same time. I see a couple people already in that stream. I wish you would heed the advice and go over there, but it's all good. It's all good. Don't forget as well, people, it's a jam-packed day of content. Shameless plug o'clock. But yeah, man, obviously, even if you're not going to be there, please hit the like button. It boosts the engagement. We're flirting with 50,000 subscribers. I think we got 49.6. And then obviously on Thursday, it's Arsenal versus Zurich. So yeah, man, the grind not stopping that. But yeah, man, let's keep going on. Do you think Zinchenko is on them agent settings? Probably, but Zinchenko is, in the grand scheme of things, he's a player. He can gas it up to his countrymen and that, but the money's going to need to be put down. He ain't worth 35 M's. That's a joke. He's cool. Thomas Tuchel's sack came as a surprise after backing him in the window just to lay him off. Yeah, but he spent peas. Of course, Shakhtar are going to sell him to the highest bidder. And the moment he keeps putting a buzz on his name in the Champions League, can you blame them? You know, it's going to go to the highest bidder in one of the European markets. If I'm them, like with anyone, you probably want to sell players to the Premier League, really and truly. You know, look at Casemiro. Take nothing away from him and things like that. But no one else, and I don't begrudge the signing of, or I'm jealous of it. And I think it's a good signing of Man United. But when you look at forget his pedigree, when you look at his age, the finances around it, only a Premier League team is going to do that, you know. It's like going on holiday as a UK tourist. You know that if you can't speak the language, or one of your brethren ain't from that country, or you can't bust an accent, or you're not plugged, you know you're gonna have to pay them tourist fees for anything. You know, the locals might get something for £1, you might have to pay 10. It's one of them ones. Tuchel to the Emirates, no thanks. Better gaffer than Arteta, in my opinion, because of what he's done in the game, but no thanks. Overcomplicates it, stale football. Obviously, he's won stuff, so I'll take that, but no thanks. Obviously, if Arteta left tomorrow and Tuchel's available, I consider it, but I'm not really on it, man. I don't think a single young player is really excelling. I don't think a single attacking player really thrived under Thomas Tuchel, and there's already them question marks over Arteta. I don't think Chelsea are a good defensive side. Look, you know, they spent 200 odd M's and they can't stop conceding. Pardon me, Chelsea, Arteta wouldn't have had a full season at Chelsea. He would have probably been given the luxury of when he took over, but the next season, his first full one, he would have been gone. There's no way they let Tuchel spend that much to sack him. I wonder how many were his signings. I hear that, but I disagree. Arteta is lucky being at Arsenal. Chelsea would have been clipped like time ago. I had a dream, won a trophy this season. Let's hope tomorrow's a catalyst. I mean, the dream is free. The hustle sold separately. If we can get Mudruk done and Danilo in the winter, that would be amazing. It would be, but I hear you and you're right. But man, have to talk about that in January. Right now, this is what we're doing with the squad. So it's of no little consolation. We could be in a good position fighting for top 4 it come January, or we could suffer with injuries. It is what it is. I have to deal with it. You know, the time's gone. Should have been doing what you needed to do in the summer. You know, you look at Zinchenko and Jesus, obviously good signings. One thing I liked, they were here early. They integrated early. Obviously, the others off the pitch as well, but they're injured. I would have loved the centre mid when we went on a tour of America, definitely to start the season. And it's another year. You know, I was looking back at my videos. You know how long I've been asking Arsenal to address midfield? Arteta's going to learn everything he can. And let's be honest, put yourself in Arteta's shoes. You're in a great job. You know, you ain't managed anywhere. You know, again, much like the managers today of this day and age, it's what you can be. It's not what you've done. You know, you got the Arsenal job just after being an assistant for Arteta, and what we hear around the young players. You've been given more luxury than someone like Unai Emery, head coach. You know, anytime it's Arteta versus the players, he's the one. He got a new contract. He's the manager, not the head coach now. With great power comes with great responsibility. You know, if I'm Arteta, I'm laughing. You know, he's had to deal with COVID, with injuries, and there's a lot he's had to deal with at Arsenal. There's a lot that's going to help him as a manager. But that is where I say, is he going to be a good manager for Arsenal, or is he going to be a good manager elsewhere? Much like sometimes we've had a couple, going back probably 10 years, we had a couple of players that were injured or didn't really show their potential. And just when they started turning the corner, they were gone. Been linked with Zidane. If I was Zidane, I wouldn't go Chelsea, but I couldn't begrudge him. I'm worried that Chelsea could tarnish Potter's reputation. That's you. I mean, any job he takes away from Brighton, the expectations are going to be deeper. He's linked with big clubs. Like I said, half of the top 6, when there's question marks over the management, he's someone that is earmarked. He's even earmarked with taking the top job for England. Respectfully, Brighton, there's not going to be expectations like that, really. Mudruk had a phenomenal game last night. Won the kid all the way. I don't know, man. Appreciate that, Kid Kako, man. Bro, what the F is happening? Did they actually sack my coach? Yeah. He wants to be the face of Chelsea. No way you back someone this much and sack him 7 games in. The propaganda and the official statement is clear. 100-day plan. Potter will be mad to work under Berhe. The new owner is a loose cannon. All right, I'm thinking this. We spent 300 million and sacked him 6 days after. Why is this mess incompetence we can still rectify? Exactly. There's 99 points available in the season. Only time will tell. It's probably a poor example, but I remember, was it Nigel Atkins? I remember when Southampton sacked him. I think Southampton were doing all right, and they brought in Pochettino, and everyone was like, oh my God, why did they do that? Then obviously saw what happened. So again, that's why I don't think it's knee-jerk. There's been, you know, whatever you think about Todd Berhe, and he's got money in it, clearly money to burn. He's got cash in it, but he's a businessman. If we take our football hats off and look at it from a business point of view, you don't get to where he's got to, probably being £1 billion man, being ethical, but making knee-jerk decisions. There has to be advisors or rumblings, or Tuchel has to have been playing a losing game from the start, really, and this made it untenable. For me, you can always tell, you know, you'll always hear we speak about, for me, it is obviously sometimes when you lose in it, but he's really digging into the players. I don't want to say he's lost pause. I don't want to say he's lost the dressing room and that, but he seems vexed. Maybe some of these guys weren't his players, you know, based on rumors. Fofana's you're done. Koulibaly's you're done. Why they gave Koulibaly, as great as he is, a 5-year deal, I don't know. But yeah, the managerial market is mid at the moment. In terms of household names, we probably have a replacement set with him having some sort of say in the signings. Do you think Arsenal should have their eyes on any manager in case Arteta cuts? We don't want him to learn everything at Arsenal, then go and use it at City or somewhere. Well, of course, you know, you want Arteta in a dream role to get us top 4 and beyond. But yeah, really, I don't know where these managers would be. You know, Gautier, if you want to leave PSG soon, shout at me. Do you think the players had concerns about him also, bro? Probably. You know how player power is. You know, the same players that probably were gassing up Tommy Tuchel were probably the rumblings there, and rightly so, obviously. So results-driven business. Sparrow fought for Raheem Sterling, Aubameyang, Fofana and that. You know, obviously, they've probably seen managers sacked at clubs before, but they've been at Chelsea 5 minutes. And look what's happened. I'm very annoyed at the timing. To be fair, 6 games in, it's better to do it now than in and amongst the tricky January period and things. Brighton, unless they get a serious compensation package, would be forced to allow 90 million plus worth of talent plus their manager to go in the same calendar year. They have to be braced for it. Who they get, I don't know. But yeah, man. Mudruk look cold still. That's the issue. If we don't get Potter, no one else is there. To be fair with you, Tuchel, man said Tuchel. Poch is there. Who knows? Napoli Paul is going to be a better game, DG. It probably is, man. But I want to watch Inter Bayern still. You just probably have to find someone that's not really known. I think he was sacked for his comments like Parker. He could have been, but I think it's just concerns over how he elevates this team. I don't want to say Chelsea winning the Champions League was accidental, because it wasn't, and it wasn't fluky, but in many ways it kind of was. It was accidental drilling. It was Bandulu. So I don't think Tommy Tuchel has got them playing in the right way. I don't really feel they're getting closer to City under him, really, and I'm sure that's what Chelsea want to do. So yeah, man, I think that one there has been nipped in the bud very quickly. And maybe the owner, this is a chance to make your mark. Because if you go get in another manager and Chelsea win 10, 20 games on the trot or whatever, it is. Only time will tell. Mudruk won't come to us. The better he plays and his fee rises. Exactly. It's crazy. Exactly like Tommy is saying here. No point comparing Arsenal to Chelsea. The ownership model and investment strategy is completely different, far more long-term in Arsenal. Yep, but I would say there's more expectations at Chelsea and there's a degree of ruthlessness. DG thoughts on, I can't say his name, but you're talking about the Don at Napoli, right? Looks very technical. Your thoughts on Partey international calls, bro? It's a dickhead thing. I can never tell a man you can't go and play for your country. It's national pride, isn't it? Obviously when it's all about inspiring the next generation. There's probably youths in Ghana that see Partey and all these guys as idols and whatnot. And you're representing your country. If I was a manager, I'd never be a guy to say you can't go and play. That being said, in many ways I would, because you're not fit. Why are you going to go off play for Ghana? We saw this with Tierney. Tierney bust himself, went and played for Scotland, mash up himself. Players, sometimes I feel as much as you can question Arsenal's medical staffs, it's on the players sometimes. I do think this is why when people say players don't care, they'll always force themselves back. They'll always potentially lie about their bodies to come and play a part in the season. But this is where we probably need to be ruthless. This is where Arsenal need to be sensible. I don't know where we're at with Thomas Partey's fitness personally, because 1 minute he's out for time, then he's back. I don't know. What I do know is I'd rather him come back when he's supposed to. I don't want to see man rush back. We've been here before. Guys rush back. They're fit for a couple of games. There's a relapse. And at 29, I'm a bit scared about this injury of Partey. Obviously, off the field things with Partey need to be addressed. But, he's 29. He keeps having the same recurring injury, Again, him and Xhaka are our first choice pivot. What we do with these 29-year-olds against the backdrop of this youth thing we're doing sets them up. We need experience. And for me, I'm not a medical man. I don't know all these things, but if it's the same recurring injury, surely there could be surgery done to try and rectify that. And if there's surgery, clearly Partey is going to be out for a long time to go with El Nene. I only have sympathy for the players suffering any injuries and the players that they're playing with, because it makes their task of top four weaker. I cut sympathy for the fans. I don't really, as much as I've got sympathy for certain things with Mikel, I don't have sympathy for any consequence of this squad not being prepared to cope with injuries, loss of form, all of these sort of things, people, because certain men have been at the club long enough. You lot were professional footballers as well. You know what it is about. So, and again, anytime I think you've got a plan that is hinging on not a single variable going wrong, you're in trouble. It's naive to expect everybody to stay fit, everybody's form to ring true to the end of the season. I believe we should have moved on Partey and Tierney. We're not going to we might break even on Tierney. We're not making nowhere near 45 million on Partey. In terms of performances, there's not on ability. I think he's one of the best in his position in the league. I don't think he is the best, but I think he's one of them. But you haven't really seen that consistently in the Prem. You've seen patches where he's really bossed it. I remember a good game in our defeat against Liverpool. He's done it at Spurs. He's done a couple of great games against United. There has been very good patches from him where he's played as the lone six or as the box-to-box eight, box-to-box eight, and more of a box-to-box ball-winning midfielder. But you haven't really seen it. When you think of Arsenal, clearly he's one of our most important players. Partey is not the first player you think of. Let's be real. When you think of Arsenal, you're thinking of Saka, you're thinking of Jesus now, you're thinking of Martinelli, probably thinking of Odegaard and Smith Rowe. The performance hasn't been there. His age, he's probably on a comfortable wage. He cost 45 million. If you was a club that wanted Partey, I think I would offer 20, really. And to be honest, Partey is an L. I wouldn't say it's a flop, but it's an underwhelming sign. The man can't stay fit. To my knowledge, he was never this injured at Atletico. So what is he doing wrong? And what is the club doing wrong? And it's always the players that we need to rely on that can't stay fit. I think we're more diligent than people say, of course. All or nothing seems to have given Arteta a bit more thing, propaganda and that. I like Arteta a lot, man, but man, trench babies, appreciate all your support, bro. You've been crying out for a midfielder for the longest time. You always question for the lack of midfield quality, as Edu and Arteta were both midfielders, and that's what I don't get. In the same way, if Mikel Arteta was a striker, we don't have a striker, I'm gonna like, bro, what's going on there? Really. Big up the Liverpool fans. Big up them. I would love Potter to come in when Klopp leaves in 2026. I love Gerrard, but my mate needs 10 more years of coaching before the Liverpool gig. He's not doing much at Villa, is he really? He's moving like a real villain. 88 likes. People keep moving. We're doing great. Shout out the Twitch gang. Right. Better dons from Twitch involved today. Lampard homecoming. DG, what do you think top four will look like following Tuchel's sacking? Honestly, with these 6 games played, I don't think you can tell, really. I think not a single Premier League team's been amazing, some better than others. I think Fulham are probably more happy than the top 6. I think City are clearly the big dogs, and Haaland's doing his thing like you saw in the Champions League. Haaland's a beast, and he's, you know, if he stays fit, I think Thierry Henry's assist record is gone because Kevin De Bruyne is going to benefit from that. You know, I don't think he'll stay at City that long, but he could very well easily, he'd probably clap the golden boot, but he could easily scheme on Shearer's record. But again, he's got to be there for time. But even City don't look as great by their own standards, but they're still City. They're still a class above everyone. I think top 4 at this moment is open season. There's many positives and negatives with Arsenal. There's many positives and negatives with Chelsea. The same said for Spurs. You know, the answer to Spurs getting top 4 can't always be Conte factor. I don't think they're playing amazing. Liverpool are not being helped by injuries. And again, I've got no sympathy for Liverpool either. I don't have it for my own club because you know what time it is. Liverpool should be comparing themselves to City. What is one thing beyond the obvious City have over you? Obviously, the owners are more willing to open their checkbook, but depth in numbers, you know. There's issues. Top 4 looks open season. If Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, whichever of these lot miss out, is failure of a season because top 4 is open. Like always, when it comes to 3rd and 4th, not so much 2nd and 1st, top 4 is battle of the inconsistent. You're not battling for the league because you're inconsistent. You'll win some games, you'll lose some games. Look at the top 4 race every year. Arsenal could have been, we were good across many aspects last year, but we was also terrible. We could have stunk up the place and still got top 4. Spurs the same. And it papers over the cracks. It's open season. Anyone who doesn't get top 4 should be disappointed because it's open season right now. Of course, dynamics can change. I'm very wary of telling you lot to draw conclusions, but it's open season. As I said, for me as an Arsenal man, it's just about surviving the winter. Let's just obviously look at what your peers are doing. Let's forgive ourselves for our mistakes. Let's learn what we need to learn in terms of improvements. Let's keep the good things we're doing and improve it. And let's just make it to the winter. I don't care how you do it. Get out of that December period. Obviously, with the World Cup in mind, realistically, we're saying top 4 is a shout. Do what you need to do in January in the market because, among other things, what we did or didn't do last January kind of indirectly played its own little part to go with game management, lacking bottle to get top 4 from January to March, from March to April, and then May it's a final showdown. You know, yeah, we lost against United and things like that, but I want to win against all the top 6. But I don't really care about banter. I don't care about slagging off my friends. I want top 4. If top 4 is not attainable, there has to be question marks. Obviously, context has to be applied. If you do not get Champions League football, whether the Europa League or whatever, I don't know in it because I don't think we're good enough to sit there and say let's focus on the Europa League because I think we can get out of the groups when it is crunch time, as you've seen for whatever reason against Atletico, against Villarreal, Olympiacos across those 2 legs, very disappointing. The final against Chelsea, when it gets to that, when the pressure cooker is on, I don't know if they're on it. Much like the tail end of last season, what I do know is you've got 38 Premier League games. That's 38 chances. Give yourself it. Whether we have the depth and the strength in depth to be able to go to it, I don't know. There will come a point in the season where hopefully we can say, yo, no, fuck that. We're going for both, really, you know. But there might come a point in the season where we say, we're sitting here and we say, yo, you know what, might have to put all the eggs in the Europa League basket or all the eggs in the top 4 basket. I don't want that. You know, I know we're nowhere near. Obviously, Tuchel's got to a lot of finals. We're not near, for whatever you say, Chelsea, we're not near them at this moment in time. I hope we can be. City, we're not near them. Liverpool, historically, we're not near them in the last few years. Them and they are not saying they're trying to go for everything. Obviously, obviously certain man's quadruple thing didn't bang, but they're going for everything. Go for everything. You know, I know it's impossible, but I'm an Arsenal man. I want the FA Cup. I want it. I want Champions League football. I want to win a European trophy. Obviously, I want the biggest thing, the Champions League, but Europa League will do at this moment in time. And again, top 4. again, it's about a winning mentality. Winning isn't just about trophies, it's about how you carry yourself. But what we can't negate is what winning can do for you. You know, if you could win a Europa League, if you could get there's no top 4 trophy, but if you could, if you could finish top 4, you start to pattern the mentality. And I did hope that we would kind of be further along in that route off the back of obviously winning the English Super Cup, Community Shield, and the FA Cup under Arteta. But yeah, man, I think it's open season. Top 4 is open season. And it's not just these clubs, you know, if you're in and amongst it. And this is why when we see 10, 15, 20 league games, we can start to, you still can't draw conclusions, but then you can start to piece together the puzzle, really. You know, half of these teams are not really fit. As I said at the start of the season, everything that all of these managers are doing in pre-season, you're not really going to see the substantial benefits until midway through it. You don't just go off for a month or so and all the problems you needed to fix are addressed. So we're going to have to see what goes on, man. We're going to have to see what goes on. Will we sign Mudruk? I hope so, but honestly, I'm not really optimistic in that regard. 240 of you locked in on YouTube. Unexpected high bills due if we don't hit the like button. Twitch gang, you look amazing. The goal scored by Zagreb against Chelsea was, bro, class. Smash and grab counter attack. Fofana looking like one stray dog trying to chase a new owner. You know, could never be Saliba, Agendas FC, and that crazy. I believe their situation turned sour after the whole Ronaldo situation. Burhi wanted him. We probably did want the franchise. When they signed Lukaku, we had Chelsea tipped for the title. They're still a top squad. I didn't have them tipped for the title, but you're right. And again, Tommy Tuchel, bro, he spent 100 M's on Lukaku. Tuchel, honestly, surprised he wasn't fired last season. Tuchel is blaming the players, cool, but he has to take some blame too. Geltier's the guy. You see, bro, Neymar yesterday. This is, bro. Anyone who says Neymar is overrated, you must be shit. You must not be able to do 10 kick-ups. You must not get gal. If you're a gal, you must not get man. You must not be wavy. You must not be comfortable. Because how can you not like Neymar, bro? The goal from Mbappe was lit. But the assist from Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, they're cooking. Shout out for Ratty and the rest of them that took part. They're sourcing. Mbappe probably too greedy for my liking. Could have wrapped it up. You know, I did like the one thing Juventus did is catch PSG cold from that set piece. You know, Donnarumma made some big saves, but he's out there giving instructions when they've taken it. But that's what PSG need. They need more than just star players. They need Gautier looks like he can't draw conclusions, and they're not all the way there yet, but he looks like he knows what he's on. You know, it looks like they finally got some systemic football. There's finally an era of being pragmatic. There's clearly better tactics. There's more fluidity. They're not just relying on star quality. And for me, you know, I obviously when it comes to black players, I don't like to be the guy about attitude and things. And I'm sure Mbappe's a humble guy, but I just think you're going to become a monster. You lack a lot of humility on the field. I'm seeing Messi and Neymar, not that he didn't work their socks off, and I'm seeing you get mad. I'm seeing you not square it. It's crazy. Even when he's taking off Messi and that, and they've got more strength in depth. Spare a thought for Arsenal, man. They got Carlos Soler, Fabio Ruiz, Vitaya. We could do, you know, some of you would say Renato Sanchez. We could do with a lot of them, really and truly. You know, Chelsea just got sourced. I mean, the problems you saw with Chelsea against Dynamo yesterday, the problems that have been there this season and last year. You know, I think they have a lot of possession, but as you saw with Arsenal at Old Trafford, what you do with possession makes or breaks the game. I think they throw a lot of jabs. They don't throw the killer punches. I don't feel there's a lot of movement. I feel everybody either comes short or everybody waits for the ball in behind. I feel they lack a couple technicians in midfield to do what Kovacic is on. So yeah, it's not really set up to go to the next level. And really, you know, as you saw, when you play a high line, you play a mad risk. Big up down Dynamo, take nothing away from them. They defended well. They're all comfortable in possession. They backed themselves. They rid the high pressure moments. They could have scored some more of their own. The goal they scored was lovely. It's done in like 3-4 touches against the run of play. It's hoofed up to the big man. It's flicked on into Orsic, who savage Spurs. You know, probably my favorite non-Arsenal player now if he keeps doing that. Fofana looking like a police officer, can't catch him. And it's a cute little chip into the net. And they had their own chances to score more. And big up Dynamo. You know, Dynamo and Shakhtar did their thing, really. Salzburg as well. I think they drew against Milan. So, they are laughing. So it is what it is for the Champions League. And big up Haaland. The man's insane. You know, Haaland, Off the Haaland's a goal scorer, but off the ball, the runs he makes, the tenacity, the aggression, the pace when he gets into stride must be flipping scary. Shout out Fodinho as well. Diaz got on the score sheet. Akanji in his debut gets a clean sheet as well. And Sevilla aren't quite the Sevilla they used to be, but it's a tough game. And obviously there's a number of Spanish players, much like the manager at City, so there's that added bit of oomph in the game. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Good day of Champions League football. And don't forget, it's not done yet, people, because Inter Milan versus Bayern Munich business, I think Mane is bagging. And I just want to see my homie Barella. Oh, Tuchel shit when it comes to creativity, bro. It's dead. And player power is a massive thing in football. Let's be real, man. Get to hide behind managers. I see it all the time, I guarantee you there's going to be some fallout comments from these Chelsea players. Maybe not sending for Tuchel, but kind of indirect in saying things. I bet you go back a few months, they were saying, he's the guy, he's lit and stuff. These players do get a lot of hiding place, but win or lose, this is how it goes. Being a manager, it's a tough business because if you win, you will get your plaudits. But if Chelsea won the Champions League tomorrow, whoever scored the Champions League goal and all the players are going to get it, and then you look at the manager. When things go wrong for all clubs, it's the gaffer first and foremost, really. And this is the industry they're in. Obviously, Tommy Tuchel can look back at his career with pride. I swear he won the league at PSG. He won the league, I'm sure, and obviously he's won Champions League. Bro, how many managers can say they won Champions League? And he's managed in the Prem. And he's never finished outside the top 4 technically, so he could do his thing. They weren't even prepared for AFCON, and everyone knows it. DG, the broken record. Amen. Big up Sky to shout all the YouTube members. Regards Partey and Tierney, we won't make money on injured players. I'm not selling Tierney unless someone... I'm not going to lie. When it comes to Tierney and Gabriel, it's not that I want to sell them. They're still my guys, but I've never been more open to getting rid, if that makes sense. I've never been more open to getting rid. Partey as well, provided the finances. None of them are gone, but yeah. I mean, all fan bases are prats, bro. I know football fans like to do this. Oh, we're better than this. We know football more. United, Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, City. Everybody's a prat in football, bro. Partey is very important. But again, if your system is contingent on players that are not fit and they're very important, then you either got to make sure the man stays fit, find a resolution over his injury, or bring in someone of his level, or maybe not of his level, but able to do his job to a Premier League standard, to a top standard. Our opinions do not carry any weight unless Eddie is on the same page, the player. Hey, man, we're allowed to talk, man. Uncle P's time at the Emirates is also underwhelming. We are our best when Partey plays, of course, but he's never there, bro. DG, do you think we should rotate for Europa and the Prem with the injuries we have? Yeah, but what rotation? Apparently Arteta's going to name a strong side, but rotate for who, bro? You can rotate some, but some players that played against United and probably will play against Everton have to travel or play tonight. I hope a bag of youngsters. I hope Matt Smith, Marquinhos, I think Charles Sago Jr. and Nathan Butler-Adeji, just based on how they're playing at youth level, Hubert in goal. I think I'd love for them to all travel with the team, but, there's no one to play. Any more injuries, Edu and Arteta have to register themselves in the team. And I can't lie, I know it's unrealistic, but can we do what Barca did? Can we start doing the Buki thing and getting players to buy out their contracts and cancel it? And then technically you're a free agent. You can be registered at any time. That's dream chasing. Crazy. It's open season, bro. Spurs are stinking it up right now and look likely to be City's main rival for the title. Sad to say, but Conte knows what he's doing. Conte knows what he's doing. Conte's a winner. Don't disrespect anything. Don't misjudge me. But let's not beat around the bush. They've got a lot of games, and I just feel everything around Spurs is around Conte. Conte's a winner. Conte's this, and he's all of these things. But he's not playing. He's not controlling them with a PlayStation. I don't think Spurs have been bad, but they've not been amazing for this hype. And obviously, I'm going to sound like a hater as an Arsenal fan, but I don't think Arsenal have been amazing, really and truly. I think Spurs, like us, everybody's making games harder than it needs to be. One thing I do think Spurs have is that Conte factor. Like you saw last season, the difference between Mikel Arteta and Conte. I think Conte didn't downplay the impact of top 4, but he calmed his players down. I think one problem with Arteta sometimes, he gasses up the game a bit too much, in my opinion, like in that North London derby. And I have to assume against United, because the first 10 minutes we were very timid and we had that mental handbrake. So I don't know, man. what we think does not matter at all unless Edu or Mikel is on the same page. This player won't be at the Emirates. Hey man, we're football fans. We love the game. We'll be there before Edu and Arteta. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. We're free to talk, man. Your opinions always matter in amongst us. Of course, we're not the decision makers. The sky is blue. Apparently, they sacked him before the Zagreb defeat. Exactly. This is why I think it's not knee jerk with sacking Tuchel. Like, obviously, that's played a part. And if there was any, you know what, let's give him a chance sort of thing, they probably think, boy, I told you so sort of thing. But I don't know, because the structure of everything has to change at Chelsea. The owner clearly recognizes that. They got no new head. The manager's not there. Obviously, Czech, Marina, all of these people have bust out. The one thing I don't want to say confidence because I don't want Chelsea to do it, but I think they will solve it, in my opinion, sooner rather than later. Aubameyang must be thinking, well, go on, because if the next man comes in and don't rate him, it's all long for him. Brazy. Man said Mbappe overrated. Never, man. Mbappe's a bad boy. Just humble yourself, bro. Humble yourself, man. You know, everyone's blowing smoke up your ass, Paul's telling you how good you are. I think you're forgetting yourself. And I don't like to do that, especially around the black players. I do think Mbappe's humble. I'm sure his parents will. But it just feels like your ego is going to see you, you know, it's gonna really get at you, really. Lukaku feeling justified. You think Lukaku would be happy now Tuchel's gone? Maybe. When the new manager comes in, you'll hear sly shots fired at Tommy, of course. Gabriel, I can't lie, he's my guy, but that Bozo G needs to leave him now, you know. And I did think, obviously, you still learning, but it's a bit too frequent for me. He's still my guy. But one thing I like him, and Gabriel's my centre back. He's aggressive, you know. I like him a lot. But I just feel his defending a lot of the time is reactionary. And prior to the United game, he's having a good season. Let's not turn him. But I don't think Saliba has faults, but Saliba's more calculated than him. He's less rash. And Saliba does rash things as well, but he's a bit more gleeful with it, if that makes sense to you lot. Not even on a hate thing, but the inconsistency is all long. Let's cash in. We struggle on the best of days to sell players at Arsenal. We're not getting that in. Want to see Tomiyasu get a solid 90. Partey slide turning into the RB 2.0. Partey get someone of reliable quality. He ain't important as he's not reliable. I hear that. The wickedest thing is Partey is not even a 6. I can play as a lone 6. If your system is reliant on Partey, then replace him and make him back up so the drop off in quality is not that bad. Is Chelsea an attractive proposition? How much do you think they need for a manager? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to praise Chelsea, but I think it is. London aspect. They've won the Champions League in the Premier League not too long ago. Premier League, obviously, a hot minute ago. You know, it's a club with big expectations. It's their chance to manage a top team in the Prem. I do think some of the players need to go, but I don't think Chelsea have bad players. Maybe need to replace some, replenish the squad and stuff. But I think that's an attractive position to take. If I was a manager and Chelsea came to me, which I'm not, I'm taking that. I'm entertaining it, if I'm honest with you. Why not? Edu is problematic, but at least Kroenke doesn't think he's director of football. He is crazy. I mean, two different approaches. I can't get at I can't lie. I would like us to be a bit more like Chelsea, not as ruthless, because I think there's two, you know, they're complete polar opposites. I feel there's things like that, but I can't tell a man that you can't be proactive. If I pay for the club and I want to buy any player or sack any manager, then no one can tell me nothing, innit? And if I bought the club like Kroenke, I can manage it in my own way. They're two different sorts of guys, you know. Clearly, when you look at the whole sort of sports realm that Kroenke's own, you know, they like to leave the manager and whatnot to their own devices, where depending on who you employ, it's one of them. At Chelsea, rightly or wrongly, it could be a benefit or a curse. You always have to look over your shoulder. Maybe a lot of things are second guessed, really, you know, in my opinion. Like, if Arteta wouldn't work at Chelsea, Tuchel, in my opinion, probably would work at Arsenal, as frustrated as it would be. We need to keep Potter away from Chelsea. Hey, mate, there's nothing we can do. He is a coach, not a politician. Chelsea ruin everyone and stifle creativity. Absolute mess. My guy Potter deserves better. Would love to see him in La Liga. To be fair, Chelsea's one of the biggest jobs in the Prem, man. You know, as much as I don't want him to go there, let's be a bit serious. You know, if you're saying he deserves a top job, Chelsea's one of the biggest jobs in the land, bro. And to be fair, as much as Thomas Tuchel might have been done dirty, to a degree, he's only got himself to blame. I'm sure he would do things a lot differently. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. Bring Lampard back to the bridge, inshallah, inshallah. Give it Kante, man. Give it Jody Morris and them man there, man. Give the Stamford Bridge pitch owners what they want. Does the Bozo regime ever leave? Yeah, there's many of them. I don't think you can shake that. You can limit it over time, but it'll always be there. No, you can look at Sergio Ramos. Ramos used to, well, to be fair, occasionally everyone makes mistakes. You're human, but Ramos, when he was younger with his long hair, used to make mistakes all the time. Van Dijk as well. It's not really there again. You can get out of you. It's just the best defenders are proactive. Obviously, if we was to watch highlights of a game and I don't know, Man United are on the counter attack and Gabriel is running from behind and he makes one mad slide tackle. That's going to be better than if you saw Gabriel read the situation before that's even become a thing, nick the ball and kept it moving. The older you get, the more proactive you have to get as a defender. You need to be less emotional. You know, as much as defending is about tackling, it's about positioning, it's about organization, it's about pulling. If you're a left-sided centre-back, communicating with your winger, communicating with your fullback, communicating with your centre mid and your partner. You know, one of you get tight, one of you drop off, you know, being sensible. If you know somebody like, again, I think Arteta set us up very naively. Obviously, we're playing a high line, but with a high line, we need to be a bit sensible. We had a high line. We went there with not our best natural defensive fullbacks. You know, we were caught high up the field on the transition. These are things that you've seen before we played United. They just come to highlight because we haven't got it. So I do think the setup is one thing, but the players have got to be smart. Marcus Rashford, you know you can't afford to get into a foot race with him. Regardless what you think about Rashford, he's breezes. You know, no matter how quick Saliba or Gabriel is, you don't want to get in a foot race with them, really. So it's about thinking. As much as the Arteta set them up to fail, the best players are the best thinkers. And I think they're getting there, but I don't think that's currently within them at this moment. To be fair, when Emre got fired, Emre really only got fired because there was no bums on seats. If you remember, the rumours around Emre, certain man at this club wanted to give him a new deal. Rob Green, that would be lit. Nah, I don't think Mertesacker had a bozo gene. He was just slow, blood. And to be fair, if I could take them elements of Mertesacker's game and slap them in Gabriel, it'd be great. I big up my guy, Hasselbank, proper Chelsea legend. It's time for him to make the next step from Burton to Chelsea. Crazy. I'm not gonna lie, DG. I prefer Ben White at right centre back with Saliba in the left side. We can go out and get a proper right back. I hear that. I like Ben White. We've got good problems, man. We need 3 centre backs or more that can all play. I like Ben White. I prefer Gabriel and Saliba. I think that's the best combination. I think Gabriel's aggressive. I think Saliba's a bit more graceful. Obviously, Gabriel has graceful bits about him, and Saliba can be aggressive. But Ben White's got to be able to. We spent 50 million, bro. We spent 50 million. He's got to be able to be a good centre back and a good right back. Simple as that, really. So you're allowed to prefer that, and that's a good That's a good thing. I don't think I prefer Gabriel and Saliba. I can't sit here and say at this moment in time it's even clear of what Ben White and Saliba could do, or and things like that, or the partnership we saw last year between Ben White and Gabriel. What I do know is there's 3 young centre backs, and they're all going to do stupid stuff and make mistakes. You know, for Gabriel, I'd say it's just about thinking a bit more. You know, just thinking a bit more. I actually think our centre backs at United, as poor as they may or may not have been, I think they were so dirty because our midfield's all over the place. They're disjointed. They don't know whether to get tight. So that kind of, and I think Gabriel shouldn't have been charging out trying to tackle Bruno Fernandes, but that's one thing that happened. No one is looking over their shoulders. I do think you've got to sign up for these things. I think, Ben White, I would say that's the biggest criticism of Gabriel. For Saliba, I think in the air, he needs to probably improve, and sometimes in wide areas when defending. And for Ben White, I think he's more proactive to defending than people give him credit for, but I don't think he thinks like a defender necessarily. I think he'd be the perfect 5-a-side player. He wants to get forward in that. So this is just the things. This is why I was saying in the summer, if we could get someone that's a bit of an exception, same way you got 29-year-old Xhaka and Partey, if you could get someone maybe younger, but maybe younger, but obviously, around that age, someone that maybe doesn't have clout in the game, that hasn't got this potential, but they've been, I don't know, Championship, League One, Premier League for years. They really understand the art of defending. Like when you look at them Brighton Dons, they really understand defending. I really want someone like that in our team. For when it gets to moments like what you saw, there's that. end of the day, I don't like to keep waffling about the youngster thing. I don't care that we've got one of the youngest squads. You need to still need to fight for top 4 and beyond. But you sign up for dumb shit. You sign up for Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe not having great games necessarily or not scoring goals they need to. You sign up for Lokonga, just painting an example, going missing in midfield. You sign up for Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, Ramsdale, even 24-year-old keeper doing dumb shit. You have to account for this. This is why I'm a bit harsher on Mikel Arteta and Edu, because the variables we need to get right, we need to. And this is why I'm harsher on generally El Nene, Xhaka, Partey, etc., because they need to give us a bit more. Because in the next 3 years, it's great for the young tugs. You lot are going to be done at it. And obviously, El Nene is nothing to write home about, but there's a degree of reliability there. When Partey's fit, clearly he's a good midfielder, but the man's never fit. And with Xhaka, I mean, he's fit, he's somewhat reliable. I don't think he's as great as fanboys make out. Don't think he's terrible by any stretch of the imagination. But you're going to live or die by Xhaka in midfield this season, you know, and God forbid if Xhaka gets suspended or injured. And maybe that's a question in itself, whether you should be building a team around Xhaka, or in a nice way, should the team actually miss Granit? You know, for me, if everyone was fit, I would have loved 2 8s and a 6. I think Xhaka could be a rotation option, could play as many games as he wants. If he plays and locks down the shirt, by all means, keep doing your thing. But I just feel when you're missing these lot, you know, we miss injury-prone players. We miss players that are good but not necessarily great. You're signing up for certain things, and are you preparing the team in the right way? Allegedly, Brighton have given Chelsea permission to speak to Graham Potter, which, seeing how that develops, people. So it is what it is. Also, with the loss, I think Arteta has got to take more than half the blame. Changing the formation that drastically, that early, incredibly naive, coupled that with taking off a left back with no replacement. I think we should have went 3 at the back. Now, we could have went 3 at the back and still got ripped. You know, Arteta would have been damned if he do, damned if he don't. But it's another game where we play a team like Spurs last season. United, you know, why would they, you know, take nothing away from United and what Potter's doing? But why do you think they were good against Liverpool and Arsenal? There was bare space to run in behind. They've got fast attacking players. You know the transition, you know. You saw it against Villa. We got and Fulham. We got caught on the transition in the second half. What happened in the second half at Old Trafford? We're giving space. They can't break down a low block, deploy a low block. It might have even given us a bit more defensive confidence. And there was a time we actually played 3 at the back and we looked better going forward. There has to be times, get the fuck out, you're going to die, you know. You're going to die, fly. This is the wrong hood to be bopping through. Oh, the gun jammed. But before that came, yeah, there has to be times. And this is what I was saying weeks before, in that it's not always when you lose that you need to change things. You know, sometimes I think Arteta changes when he doesn't need to, and he can be rigid when he doesn't need to. And obviously, everybody has to take blame. The players are the ones playing. But, you know, I don't think the first 10 minutes were well enough. I think the players, for how they started, for how they conceded those goals, for how they managed the game, for how they reacted to setbacks, I think they need to take the blame. For how naive they were when we was chasing the game, for not taking their chances, if I haven't said that. There's only, unless you're really Saka scored, but if it's Jesus, unless it's Jesus and Martinelli, I don't think he played well. But Arteta, you know, game management, the players as well, and the gaffer, you know, Arteta made changes in the 73rd minute. We conceded in the 75th. A direct consequences, not that Lokonga was playing amazing. You took off the one man in midfield, and Xhaka, you're still making Xhaka fly forward. There's going to be gaps. Once again, against a high line, you're in problems. Sorry, people, there's my window's open. A fly try to come in here. Get out. Hey, pussy boy, don't want. Anyways, less of that. But yeah, man, everyone has to, we win, lose, and draw together. And again, it goes back to what I said. I don't have sympathy for any problems. I don't want to hear if El Nene was there, if Partey was there. I'm not saying people are wrong, but that's dead. Like, they're not there. Man are injured. It don't matter. Like, this is what you lot signed up for. I've got no sympathy for the, oh my God. You are violating me. You know I'm going to allow you. You're violating me. Man went on my laptop. You're violating me. You are violating me. DG versus the Flies again. Where is that crop? You're lucky I can't even. I'm going to mash up my equipment. Let me get you. Pussy. I swear I'm going to fuck you up and kill you. I'm going to fuck you up, man. Sorry, people. It's putting me off, man. I keep bringing out the fake one, man. You can see I'll be running through this raid. Get out, man. Hi. We spray it low as well in case you try to hide from this. You're so fucked. You don't even know. You came to the wrong place, but let's stay on task. You came to the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place for all of that, man. I'm not a nice guy, man. Yeah, anyways, away from that, yeah, man, you sign up for certain things. Bear man got the bozos, man. Arsenal, Arteta saying Arsenal were disciplined not to panic on deadline day is mad. We wanted you to get a DM way before deadline day. The Douglas Luiz bid was 6 weeks too late. Trust me, the raid runs out too quick for how much it costs. Trust me, cost a dog with the leg. You're damn right, blood. Costs far too much peas, bro. Far too much, but it's a zang. Still, it's a zang. Absolute zang. 136 likes. Can we get to 200? Of course, we're beefing the flies, man. Love for the super chat, bro. I didn't even see that. I'm not disrespecting you. If we had a true DM, Gabriel wouldn't have to make that tackle. This board has been saying we have a plan, yet waited until deadline day. Thank you for your super chat. Barry, if you're out there, I see you donated on PayPal. Appreciate that as well. But you're right. You know, Gabriel has to hold himself accountable. Why was he there in the first place? But you have to say, where's the midfield? And again, even if you're going to play the same players, you've got Zinchenko doing the Zinchenko thing at left back. Xhaka is still going further forward. You know, Lokonga, I think he can be a decent player for us, but right now he needs his handheld. You're kind of leaving him to the Wolves. You've seen already this season, we get caught on the transition, especially in the second half. I'm disappointed, but I can't say I'm surprised about the United game because I told you, look, what was going to happen. We have to move on and learn from this, but it is what it is. Paul will need time. Will he get? I mean, you'd have to probably give him the luxury of this is a free hit of a season word to Arteta. Graham Potter will not accept. Poch will come. I don't know, man. It all depends what they're saying to him. I mean, Scott Parker is proper Chelsea, so I would like to see him go and do that. Mertesacker was way positioning was very good. Pace used to cause him trouble, but set pieces were bussing. I say Mertesacker link what you said about being proactive, reading the game. Exactly. You know, if I could give the brain of Mertesacker to Gabriel, I think he'd be all right. The thing with Mertesacker, he just went. Obviously, shout out to Mertesacker, Rob Holding, and Monreal, but he didn't have the physique to do this thing in the Prem. Really like that. Will Gabriel ever get rid of his clumsiness? He's a tank. Don't get me wrong. I hope so. I really hope so, but honestly, I don't know. Really don't have a clue. Shout out the Twitch ones in here as well. Let me scroll the way up. I don't want to miss anything. You think they'll still big up Tarns? You think they'll still Potter from Brighton? I mean, if they're putting the peas down, they can get what they want. Big up DG. Just woke up to news. Can't believe Tuchel got sacked. Chelsea doing Chelsea things. Mertesacker and Koscielny in defense was lit. I got more love for Mertesacker than Koscielny, man. You know, Koscielny never pocketed Douglas Costa. Koscielny for France is getting headlocked by Adair and that. They drop Koscielny, they win the World Cup. Koscielny's out here bottling Atletico Madrid. Koscielny's out here getting ripped by Zigic and them, man. Fuck Koscielny, man. I'm only saying that because that was my guy and he left like a pussy. That's the only reason I'm saying that, people. I'm not going to lie to you. Granite, my guy. I like Granite, but you're not going to get to that level. DG, have you seen pro-level dart guns that shoot a little web far accurate to kill flies and mosquitoes living in Africa? Brazy. Nah, I haven't seen that still. Emma Hayes, she could manage in the man's game. And there will be a scenario where women will be managing in the man's game, but the way football fans, stuck in the stone ages at times, I kind of fear for the abuse, which is, it shouldn't be right at all. It is what it is, man. Keep the opinions coming, folks. Elite stuff. I'll never forgive Koscielny, blood. Because he left like a pussy. Like, he was my guy, but he left like a pussy. So I'm on you for life now. I'm on Koscielny for life. The beef will never, ever die. I look at he's a little wet wipe, man. He's a little wet wipe. Mertesacker, Monreal, Holding, they pulled their pants up. Certain men were doing interviews. I can't believe my kids always asking why are Arsenal so bad. Allow it, man. The disrespect you did after Arsene Wenger persisted with that done when he was robbed. Do you remember when Koscielny was robbed? Like proper robbed, and he became a half-decent defender. Koscielny and that. And this is how he repays people. And I'm not a tribal person when it comes to this football thing, as you know, but he's a wet wipe, man. Wet wipe. How's a man saying I'm not happy? Nah, Koscielny's better than Gallas. And Koscielny is I'm just vexed with Koscielny. And hate is a strong word. I don't hate Gallas as a person. As a footballer, I hate everything about you that you was at Arsenal. I hate your perm. I hate the fact you wore the number 10. Hate the fact that you was the captain. Big up you for scoring when we beat Chelsea a couple of years ago when you was here. I just hate everything about Gallas. Bro, he's meaty, but when it comes to crunch time, it's meaty. In fact, let me try to find that. Koscielny, my kids. And then his nonsense his nonsense went and carried him over to Bordeaux as well. Forget this guy, man. Always crying and that as well. Soft you, man. Soft. Nah, man, I don't like this guy, man. Integrity is everything to me. If I smell that you ain't got that, and I'm sure he is. I'm sure you're a good husband. I'm sure you're a good guy. I don't hate you as a person. I just hate how you was maneuvering. I don't blame you for how you, the only thing I'll give you, I remember that we kind of, you know, we played you too much in your last couple of years, and I remember you kind of criticized Emre. I'm here with that. Baby, bro. Absolute baby. Love for the super chat again. You're too kind, man. Also, bad man management. Arteta had at least 3 games before that to get Vieira minutes. He chose the United game to give him his debut. That's insane. To be fair, he didn't play significant minutes. I don't think Vieira was fit enough to play significantly. I think I don't know anything, but I'd imagine he gets his first start either centrally or on the flanks against Zurich, and now his Arsenal career can finally get somewhere. Nah, Kashani weren't a bum. He weren't a bum. Just a mug towards the end. And he just bottled it whenever it was crunch time. You weren't safe. I ain't defending Kashani. Man said, I'm still cool with Tevez, even after the whole welcome to Manchester billboard BS. Not as bad as Adebayo running the length of the field. To be fair, I'm not even onto Adebayo, really. You know, I'm not onto Adebayo. I'm not onto Alexis. I'm not onto Van Persie, because as much as I'm a tribal Arsenal fan, I get it. It comes with it. I'm not onto you. Like, if Aubameyang scores against us, I won't be onto you like that, because you didn't even actually want to leave Arsenal. You got rubbed out. Always love Koscielny. Arsenal gave their word and went back on it. So, hey, less of that, man. Less of that. Koscielny, bro, exactly. The other Gabriel, he took it too far. You know, he had to back it. Nah, man. Do you know why? Because I'm on that Adebayo stuff. I can't lie. I would do that as well. I'd fully do that as well. Well, maybe not run the whole length. I might not be able to play the rest of the game, but I would be on that as well. I'm not going to sit here in cap, man. I'm not going to sit here in cap. So I'm not really onto them, like, beyond the obvious. So yeah, man. What could we do? Oh, remember them days? I can't even laugh. We could start finding the Giroux, the Adebayos, the Van Persies, these kind of man again that we've been talking about. I'm here for it. I'm not even onto Sammy and Nasri. Obviously, Frimpong did a get back for him already. I am onto Gallas, and just Koscielny, why are you talking? It's like in secondary school, obviously, you know, when you're in like year 7, year 8, you got friends in the older years, like year 10, year 11, you chat shit and then run behind the teachers. You're not talking no crud when they're there. This is what I'm getting from Koscielny, because when it was here, you weren't talking up the things. But French players are very opinionated. Yeah. Coquelin did a get back. What happened FA Cup final? When he done a get back, step overs against Hazard. Ozo out here dupping, man. I had to, man. Coquelin was my guy, meaty, but my guy, man. Passion merchant. So he was right at home with me, man. Right at home. What could we? The one player I want back is Santi Cazorla, man. If we could get a Santi Cazorla, a Patrick Vieira, Tony Adams, a Thierry Henry, or someone with even flipping a percentage of their ability, it would make a significant impact, man. It is very difficult for me within my 27 years to see what Arsenal is at the moment. Not necessarily winning trophies and things. I'm used to players that can pass the ball. Like a lot of the things I find myself talking about in these live streams, they were somewhat luxuries. And if I could see the future, I'd probably have savored the moment a lot more. Like I'm sorry, but Lacazette's a good example, good footballer. But man, I praise him, man, for running around and working hard. Do you know the territory we're in? I love Tomiyasu and Ramsdale. Take nothing away from them, but the bar was on the floor. Them walking into this club, the minute he showed he could defend, Tomiyasu and Ramsdale could catch a ball, which is a bit subjective in today's day and age. We was cool with them. And this is it. Koscielny had a good career, but left like a weasel. That's it. It's weasel. Arshavin was lit. Come on. We had ballers, man. We had the more physical, gracious ballers in Highbury. Then we went for the 5'8" and that, the technical players. Wenger ball and that. It just ain't got there. 146 likes. People were close to 200. Close, but far at the same time. Keep running it up. Appreciative. And don't forget, people, later today, it's Inter Milan, Bayern Munich. Sagna again, the way I look at Sagna to a degree is how I look at Tomiyasu, different players, but reliability. You don't need to. When Sagna was here, never mentioned him. Like, it was one of them. You just knew he was reliable, sort of thing. And Tomiyasu is a bit like that. El Nene to a slight degree, exaggerated, but slight degree in the minuscule minutes he should be playing. if I'm honest with you. But yeah, let's start looking at some of the what's going on in football. We've spoken on that. We've just watched that. We've just watched that. So yeah, let's start seeing what's going on in the world of football, man. Apparently, there's a new potential star around. If you look at what Mudruk did tonight, you'll understand why Shakhtar refused 35 million bids last week. Quality, pace, goals and assists. He's considered a top talent. So that's why Shakhtar want 50 million euros. Arsenal's recent transfer target, Douglas Luiz, wants to leave and does not intend to renew with Aston Villa. Obviously, from January abroad, he can agree moves away, and hopefully Arsenal go back in for him, Telemans, Danilo, etc. Apparently, Cedric is unlikely to be involved against Zurich after picking up a minor knock. He's recovering and wasn't in training. Smith Rowe and Cedric are not involved in training this morning. Emil Smith Rowe. I love you, Smith Rowe, but stay fit, my brother. But yeah, it's peak, innit? Like, we're gonna by default, man, have to play a strong team. Arsenal will go into the Europa League campaign with a strong team, despite injuries robbing manager Mikel Arteta of a number of first-team starts for the trip to. He robbed himself. You know, if I go to a rave in a certain part of London and I've got a big green face rollie on shining and I'm looking a certain way, I'm gonna attract the hyenas. You didn't sign certain man. Now we're paying the price with injuries. It's crazy. It wasn't, and Leno's actually spoken. It wasn't about performance or quality. It's just about politics. Apparently, Leno attacks Ramsdale's promotion to number one. To be fair, Ramsdale said he expected to have to fight for that longer, man. Leno has launched a scathing attack on Arsenal and claims politics was behind his summer departure. You had a year left on your deal. You wanted first-team football. You're not going to get, really and truly. So, of course, there's politics. There's politics everywhere, really. But anyways, do your thing. Don't tell me you're going to start moving like Martinez, mate. When I realized that it wasn't about a performance or quality, I knew I had to go. In preparation, I saw that it's not about performance, but only politics. It was clear I had to get out of here. Fair enough. The most important thing for me is to find rhythm again, especially after I actually wasn't able to train properly at Arsenal and had no preparation. It's up to me to get the focus back on the national team. Fair enough. Go do your thing. Away from that, again, I don't know if 90 minutes is creditable, but apparently Moses Caicedo remains on the radars of Liverpool and Arsenal, with Brighton prepared to sanction a sale in January for the right price. What's the right price? January sales, where football's concerned, is the opposite. Unless contracts are running down, you're going to have to pay a premium. They're not going to want to sell him. You know, no one wants to sell players in January necessarily. No one necessarily wants to buy players, really. So it's going to be a brazy one. So I don't know for that one, but I mean, whether it's Caicedo, Danilo, Douglas Luiz, Telemans, whoever's more realistic or anyone else, get it done. Caicedo's got a lot of years left. I do think he's a talented player, but man, are gassing it. He's been at Brighton 2 seconds, really, and people are overdoing it. But he's a quality player with a bright future ahead of him. Same way. What's going on here? This could be very contradictory to what we just read. Edu to abandon Arsenal's chase for Aston Villa star, as sources name Brazilian as number one target. As I said, don't care who you get, just get someone. Arsenal are unlikely to go back in for Douglas Luiz in January transfer window, with the Gunners reportedly willing to spend big on another Brazilian midfielder instead. Arsenal keen to sign Danilo in January, people. As you know, Douglas Luiz becomes a free agent next summer. Like approach for Luiz in January. By then, the Brazilian will have just 6 months remaining on his deal should an extension not be agreed. However, Edu is now reported to have struck the Villa man off his wanted list instead. Apparently, this gossip columnist said we're going for Danilo. Why not both? Because El Nene bring in a couple eights, we could be laughing still. I'm not too sure. So we'll have to see. Dean Jones allegedly has said, I think we can expect Arsenal to maintain their interest in Danilo like everyone. They had set him as a top tier target heading into the summer window. There was temptation to try for him because of the situation, but he's a young player in Brazil, and they are content that he will lead the way for him. They will lead the way for him in next year. Anyways, we'll have to see. 21 got the world in front of him in it, so I have to see. Apparently, Arsenal remain keen on ex-Manchester City attacker after 26 million transfer bid was rejected. Who's this? Ferran Torres. And apparently we heard Xavi's the key reason we never went and got him, really, because Xavi Barca wanted to sell him. Xavi said no. I mean, I'd welcome Ferran Torres, can play left, play right. Obviously, when it ended for him at City, he was playing as a striker, and there was a period he was playing as a striker at Barcelona. But so, and obviously he's got longevity, ties in with what we're doing. So why not? But now's not the time. What's going on here? Director warns Arsenal and Everton target will cost much more than 30 million. This was 5 hours ago. And obviously, when he's playing like that in the Champions League, of course he would. We know we received glowing reports. We know we spoke to his advisors. Apparently, the president said we refused offers of even 35 million euros. We value him much, much more. Apparently, Juventus are interested. As you know, Brentford held talks to sign him and were unsuccessful in their pursuit. Shakhtar said, for me, Mudruk is the best player in Europe in this position. Obviously, he's going to start capping. After Mbappe and Vinicius, I don't see a third player other than Mudruk in this position in Europe. Mudruk has crazy potential. Of course he does, but you just want to sell him to the highest earners. So I'm not too sure you're going to be 100% honest in what you're saying, really and truly. So we'll have to see how that one develops. Apparently Arsenal, he's plays for Ajax now, but apparently Arsenal were offered Grealish, and apparently we were looking at Edison Alvarez, who was primarily linked with Chelsea. Arsenal want Edison Alvarez, and a player they've been offered, Florian Grealish, has now joined Ajax on a free transfer. Either way, none of them are there. We spoke about that kind of yesterday. Chelsea and Newcastle were also rivaling us allegedly for Edison. And apparently we was offered a number of midfielders, Arthur Melo, Grealish and all these guys, but it weren't to be. So it's almost irrelevant. He's joined a new club. Once again, apparently Arsenal now want to sign 24-year-old Newcastle at £34.5 million bid ready. We've already seen that. So good. I got it twice. Mikel Arteta to make surprise Europa League team selections. How can it be surprise if we have to do it by default? So yeah, Smith Rowe again. I don't know when Arteta's press conference is, but hopefully we hear around that. 41 more likes until we hit the target, people. Arsenal pulled out of Yuri Telemann's deadline day transfer because they lost belief in out of contract Leicester star. Yeah, after the last 3 windows, going over him, doing our due diligence, speaking with his agents, having them at London Coley. Now we've got concerns. Deadline day, the man was playing. Either way, there's no midfielder. I don't even want to hear this. The offer of around 23 million for Douglas Luiz would have been enough to land Telemans. So I think we can take from this that Arsenal lost belief that he was the right fit for their system. He's not a 6. They're interested, but not interested enough. As you know, he's got a year left on his deal. So it is what it is in that regards. Arsenal continue midfield search. Florian Grealish and Arthur Melo offered to the club. So yeah, they were offered to us. Either way, none of them were here. That's just a piece I was reading on Saliba and Saliba's development, how Arsenal first saw him at 15, really. You know, Gooden saw him and he said he's special. He saw him at 15 and has a top 3 of the talents he's been involved with. He said there's Kingsley Coleman, who I actually had in the building at London Coley when I looked after him and his family in London over Christmas 2012. They were sold on Arsenal and went to see the famous 7-3 game against Newcastle, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Then there's Kylian Mbappe, who we tried for, but who had already had his path, Monaco, then PSG mapped out. Then there's Will. Even at 15, you could see the calmness, the smoothness with which he moved across the ground, a rare breed. Crazy. And obviously, we know he's good friends with Kylian Mbappe and things like that. Apparently, he left home at 15 and Arsenal were on his trial. In France, you normally get dynamic, powerful young defenders who catch the eye through their explosiveness, but a lot of those guys get caught up quickly because they're relying on physical qualities instead of intelligence and mentality, which is true. Will had those other qualities in abundance. He was a smooth mover despite his size. He used composure and his reading of the game. And apparently he also liked Fofana, but figured prizing one talent away would be hard enough, never mind 2. Obviously, Saliba continued to play first team games. Godin convinced Arsenal should not wait a moment longer to pounce, and he sent one of his trusted operators, Arsenal's then head of scouting, Peter Clark, to view Saliba. Clark still has his notes from the trip. Such was the impression Saliba made in the 3-2 win versus Bordeaux. Very classy and elegant. I particularly like the way he has a deceptive body movement and dummy movements whilst in possession. He does love to drop a shoulder. A formidable opponent to beat in 1v1 situations. Showed authority and communication. Doesn't shrink physical battles. And when it came to tactical aspects, without a doubt, the most intelligent and mature tactical performance I've seen in a long time. The best young defender I've seen for years at the time. Big up, Barry. I don't know if you were here, but once again, love for that donation, my dude. I see that the other day. Apparently, he said, I helped Jay, who was a former head of video scouting thing at Arsenal, to put together films for Will's presentation and chose a clip from the game I'd seen. It was where Will did this thing in the second half, where deep in the defensive area, he stepped inside an opponent so calmly, the French defense commentator went, ooh la la. All right, cool. And obviously, Saliba was frustrated, but now you're playing games for Arsenal, sign a new deal and do your thing. So, yeah, big him up, man. Good little article there. We've seen this on Leno already, people. Obviously, get to know our Europa League opponents. We've got PSV. We've got Clint, who beat Roma. They're going to be an interesting one. Zurich, who we're playing tomorrow. Then there's that. This is a bit irrelevant for all of you lot, people. The player was pushing. Transfer Insider says perfect winger wanted Arsenal deadline. They move. Let's see exactly what's been said. They tried until the last moment, but in the end, they had to give up. Arsenal closed the summer transfer session without having purchased a winger. A few hours before the end of the transfers, the Gunners intensified contacts with other clubs to give Mikel Arteta one more alternative among his offensive players, but without success. The first attempt was made with Shakhtar Donetsk for Mudruk. The player was pushing for the transfer, but the Ukrainian team did not lower the request of about 50 million euros. It's no coincidence that Shakhtar had already rejected offers of around 30 million from Everton and Nice in previous days. So why couldn't you bid 30 million for Pepe and just take him off our hands? Arsenal were willing to reach the amount of 30 million and had hoped the player's willingness would help to close the deal, but that wasn't the case. Shakhtar remained stuck at 50 million euros. The British club decided not to raise and went for other last-minute names and ultimately ended up with none. So, yeah, the 21-year-old's going to keep blossoming and doing his thing. Good luck to the lad, people. Good luck to the lad. So, yeah, don't forget on that as well, people. Inter Milan watch along later. And obviously, you've got this tomorrow. So, make sure you're there for that. Once again, by default. Arsenal handed transfer clarification after masterclass. I mean, let's not draw conclusions on one game. Looks a talented player, but yeah, it is what it is in that regard. See what else is on the net for us. What's this? It's come out in the last hour. Just the Leno stuff. Well, we're going to have to see that. But yeah, anyways, let's see what this is saying. And no one care what Rio Ferdinand has to say. Big up to Thierry Henry. Ian Wright sad to see Bellerin leave. I'm not. We all saw Tavares was hitting out Arsenal allegedly. Apparently Partey's been called up to the Ghana squad, which is probably silly from an Arsenal perspective if we let him go. So it makes no sense. But where that's concerned, it seems like that's that in the transfer market, people. Or I'm going to say transfer market, where any sort of anything close to transfer news is concerned, people. So it is what it is. What are you lot saying? Let me get back to you lot. It's not Thursday, bro. Well, am I living a day ahead? It's Wednesday, so it can't be today. Melo is meaty. Tuchel is gone. Varsa washed. You're right, but at least we have something to work for in the future. We already had an agreement with Danilo to come to Arsenal in January. I mean, let's see. Everyone has agreements with everyone until it's signed on a dotted line and legally blind, and it's irrelevant, man. We should get Ismail Assar as a winger. Nah. He's more raw than the talents we've got already. Leno talking like he's newer. Big up DG, just joined the stream, but Thomas Tuchel knew his time was up last night. That aside, Mudruk is the real deal. I don't know why Arsenal didn't go for him. I'm lost. Crazy. Interested to see how Turner plays. A lot of question marks around him. I'm wishing him all the best, but I don't know, man. Crazy, man. Do you agree with the Thomas Tuchel sacking? I think I would have tried to wait it out and see what would happen, but I can't blame them for pulling the plug. Santi, best player I've seen live. Honestly, never seen anyone like it. I've seen Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Neymar, Alexis Sanchez. Quite a few players live still. But Santi was a joy to watch. I remember one of my first videos on YouTube was around Santi Cazorla not being appreciated. Forget the wider footballing world by Arsenal fans. So it is what it is. Morning pack. Big up yourself, man. Once again, apparently Brighton have given Chelsea permission to speak to Potter, whatever that means, man. Once again, I don't know if he'll get time, man, but he's going to have to. What other news have we got? Sander Berge from Sheffield United in 24. Interesting. I mean, you could have done a lot worse. If he signed for the squad, I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not really that keen on him. I'm old enough to remember Sol Campbell being clumsy at the same age as Gabby. Wenger smoothed him out. Who do you want to see in the Europa League? I think Marquinhos could get a look in. I mean, nobody's fit in it, but I would like to see Marquinhos, Fabio Vieira, as many Haaland kids as they want. But I do want to start the group in the right way, confirm qualification to the next round sooner rather than later. And you do want to take 6 points off Zurich, because Glint, I think we should be beating them, but they're a bit booky. PSV could go either way, especially with the trip to Holland. TT's gone. Who's next? Rodgers. But Rodgers got the big boy compensation package. If Chelsea get Potter, I'm a bit worried. I can be worried, man. You know, a team that's trying to do serious things, getting a serious manager. This is what it's about in football, people. 164 likes. Can we get to 200 or move closer? DG, could you get an interview with a scout? Would be an interesting conversation. It would be. It would be, wouldn't it? We'll play Saka. I hope not. Big up yourself, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Owen, appreciative, man. Appreciative for all the support. The one player out there for centre mid at Arsenal you'd most prefer, they can't get him, man. You know, off the top of my head, it's difficult, but I would have loved Fabio Ruiz, Carlos Soler. Do like Danilo from what I see of the real 21-year-old. Would like Douglas Luiz to arrive at the carpet. Fabio Ruiz, if I didn't make that clear as well. Trying to think. Sengare's there. There's a couple in France still. Wouldn't mind Kakare, got to bulk up a bit physically. You know, Le Penant of Lyon as well. Obviously, he used to play for Cannes, and now he's just joined them. I think he's going to be a decent player in a couple of years. You just got to wait on him a bit. Tough, fairly tenacious tackler, gracious on the ball as well. So, yeah, man. Spoken about him before during his Cannes days. Played for France at youth level as well. DGD, what do you think of us playing Everton at 2 o'clock after our Europa League game? We knew this was a thing last season, going into this season, sorry. You know, you knew this was a thing. We're going to be playing Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Sunday. Going to have to get on with it, man. Bazza, we just got over it, but you haven't missed anything, my guy. You know, I can give you a timestamp. You ain't missed anything. Just a bag of things that won't happen. Really, Mudruk and them things there. There's a timestamp, my guy. Rewind that. So we knew you got no excuses. You knew you needed a squad. You know it's a quick turnaround because I don't know if we're gonna fly back the same Thursday after playing, but you'd imagine there's gonna be a recovery session on Friday, maybe a light training session. Definitely gonna train on Friday. Definitely gonna train on Saturday, and then you have to get on with it. Potter to be sacked by Christmas if he signs for them, hopefully. Absolutely, Fabian Ruiz has been on my radar since his Betis days. Great signing for PSG. They're the kind of guys, man. I wanted him. I wanted Rodri. Like, let's go find some La Liga cultural midfielders, Arteta, man. You know, you look at Arteta. You look at Arteta. You look at Pep. He's got the Spanish influence there, among other things. Where's yours? Shugazi. Hopefully we're able to do something, but boy. So yeah, allegedly Cedric's injured. Smith Rowe, we know he's injured. Crazy. Apparently we'll be wearing our black strip tomorrow. Have to see what's going on there. Crazy. It's a bit harsh. Thomas Tuchel was actually sacked it during his 100th after his 100th game for Chelsea. Crazy. Apparently Juventus are already interested in Thomas Tuchel, so boy, he's living in it. Only take temporary L's. You know, summer's done, so I imagine life in Italy is going to be much better than, you know, the weather and that, and the culture is going to be a lot nicer than, you know, where Chelsea's at. Well, to be fair, Chelsea's in a nice part of London, really. What time is the game tomorrow? I'll be live from 4:45 UK time, so we kick off at 5:45. Nelson's still injured. Forgot about that guy. Yeah, he is, man. What you having for lunch, lad? Crazy, because I was thinking about that, man. I don't know, you know. Oh, shit. No, chicken and rice. Chicken and rice still. Leftover dinner from yesterday. I'm switching my profile on here, DG, so I'll keep you posted on that here. That. NEFM today, 4:30. I've completely forgot about that. 4:30. Arteta never played for Spain, but you're Spanish. You must be watching La Liga. Go and do your thing and find them. Big up my Jamaican tugs. And all the Caribbean ones. Would you go for Bailey? Because he's Jamaican. Why not? Like, why not? Best in the league. Him, Mikel Antonio, Bobby Reed. The best in the league, man. Really. Moving forward, now we've ended our winning streak. I would like to see our defense line up, including Tierney and Tomiyasu, instead of White and Zinchenko. What's your thoughts? Yeah, man. I'd like to see Zinchenko in midfield, really. But is what it is. I think against Everton, you could run the Zinchenko left back thing, but trench works. Because, again, against Everton, it's all about reaction for me. Because what among game management, what we did or didn't do in the summer or January, whether we had the mentality, I think our ability to bounce back, it weren't good. It weren't good enough, really and truly. There was that Brighton, Southampton, and Crystal Palace streak. We need to be able to react. Things look very differently, regardless of the 5 wins. You know, if you lose one and then you drop another, and obviously where you saw last season, the margins forever. If we just took 6 points, in my opinion, 3 to 6 points, who knows what would happen? Thoughts on how 5 subs has changed the tactics in the Prem from what you've seen so far? Good question. Say it's helped with game management. I don't really think I've seen the changes I thought it would, if that makes sense. I don't really think there's been anything of significance. Nah, man, Bobby Reed best in the world, man. This might sound controversial, but do you think the conversation should be had about Smith Rowe? I know it's early, but he's giving off Jack Wilshere vibes. Benfica has a young man called Martin Neto. I mean, Benfica always got lit guys. Nah, man. Positivity. Smith Rowe will be lit. DG, you doing a watch along for Inside Hey Len? I need to, but when are we gonna have time? Probably not today. Might have to pattern that tomorrow or Friday. Thoughts on it? Well, they are. He's not a winger. I mean, exactly what Arsene Wenger said. His career is centrally based, and he's thriving a lot more there. He's not going to score goals or assists. By January, if Balogun is outscoring Eddie by a significant amount, would you call him back to fight for the number 2 spot? Nope. Unless there's mad injuries, nope. I think you're disrupting his progress. You know, he's having his first loan spot at Middlesbrough. He's learnt from that, and he's doing a lot better, getting his name ringing. You've made a commitment. Let him keep playing games, man. Come back next summer. You made a commitment not to factor this guy in next season. Give him there, and there'll probably be a penalty fee as well. 5 subs only benefit City, no doubt. No team has better depth than City, and City use it to their advantage. Okafor's been on, you know, maybe he can shine now that Adeyemi's cut. Think it definitely benefits teams like City. They can put a whole bomb squad all at once. Yeah. But generally, I wouldn't see it, man. It might have affected his preference. And if that has, boys, it's mashing us up. Oh, I missed these Banduli 5:45 kickoff. Speak for yourself, man. Any idea of the team of the tonight team news? Not a clue, bro. He's not making it, man. It's harsh. Football is a harsh game. What do you think the Blues can win this season? I hope nothing, but at the same time, they're not out the Champions League. They're not out the FA Cup. Mathematically, they can fight for the Premier League, so it's still open season for Chelsea. There are mad injuries. I'd reconsider. I might let you know, unless if something mad happens to Jesus and that, maybe, you know. But I would leave Balogun there. He's still learning, and obviously, from what I've seen of him on loan, check out the loan report, people. He's scoring goals, and his general play is amazing, but he's not doing a madness like that beyond the obvious. Take nothing away from what he's doing. Let him have his stability, man. 20 more likes, and we've got what we need, folks. Bro, only 2 likes on the other watch along. You lot hate me, man. Damn. What was I actually doing? I was getting the loan report video. That's what I was doing for you lot. I think he got done dirty, but this is it, man. DG, you're too funny. The way man said no, Balogun must do a full loan. It's not fair, bro. Like, well, if Balogun's gonna come and sit on the bench, obviously for Arsenal that helps us because there's a body there. But minutes are currency, and when you're playing week in, week out, it's a drug, bro. It's like a nitty, bro. Nitties don't want to go rehab by force, do they? Really? Let my man keep getting the drug of football, getting importance, doing his thing. When you hit 50k subs, inshallah, thank you very much. Are you going to do a call-in show as a celebration? I'd love to do a call-in show in general, but while it would be used for some good stuff, there'd have to be a way to work around it because, you know how Niki guys are going to, you know how it can get. Like, you know how it can get. I mean, I would seriously assess Balogun in the summer. So Balogun's doing all he can. Man are talking about you, but the goals are one thing. It's your general play. I think in comparison to what I saw with Balogun at Middlesbrough, he's being less naive. At sometimes I think he was like he had ants in his pants. He was, I'm not going to get the ball centrally. I'm running out left wing. I'm doing this, which you need to do, but you need to keep discipline. I think he's making better runs. He's running off the shoulder a lot more. His general play is improving. Evidently, he's scoring goals. He's getting importance. Everyone's talking about him. He's getting more confident. You know, he's getting more experience. Keep doing that. I'm not expecting you to be, I know everyone does it, but I'm not expecting you to come back a madman. You're mad lit. I would love it to be the case, but it's not going to be that. Just come back a bit more confident ultimately at trying to break in, because there is a spot for another striker in this team. You can't play Miguel as he's gone alone. Calling shows are Bandulu. Look at what happened to Tobes and Saeed. I wasn't trying to say it, but again, yeah, man, if there's a way to pattern it, no way, man said it's like a nitty. It is, well, I don't know anything about that. Arteta rotation. You are right. We did the same to Eddie at Leeds to hold bench. And even Eddie, unpopular opinion, you can go back to my videos. I actually feel Eddie came back from Leeds a better player. He looked a bit stronger. I think there was a period, I think we played Everton and Newcastle at home. I think Saka bagged both weeks and he played in that. And then he didn't quite kick on like how we did last year. I mean, I'm not against selling Partey, but, you know, sell him and do what? Like, what are we bringing in for one? As you've seen, Arsenal have an inability to plug the gaps that need to be plugged, then you're not going to bring back any real bread. I think Potter could be a little appointment for Chelsea. I hope it fucks up, but yeah. Stability brings clarity. Bringing in young players is in our DNA. Fans need to chill. He just needs to do his thing in France. Uncle Henri is watching. Tell him again. Just let him do his thing, man, because, you know, it's a different ball game. Let's be honest. The Prem is a stronger league than that. And obviously, Balogun, you know, he's got some starts now, and he's been given that healthy start where you can keep playing. Look at what starting did for Eddie. You've got to take your chances, but it's very difficult when you're getting 2 minutes, 15, 20, and these sort of things. So just let him keep doing his thing, man. I don't know if he probably does need one more loan, but I would seriously assess what happened, like where he's at in the summer. I think you come back for pre-season next summer. We really run the rule over you, see what you're at with Arteta, and then we pattern a loan spell. I'd love for him to go to a Prem loan or something. Gonna screen them callers. Have to have been active on Twitch or YouTube for at least 6 months. None of these new things. Yeah, I mean the regular names, you know, Ross, the regular names, Josie, Ross, a couple of you, you know, obviously. I know you lot are not on no funny man thing, but the rest, it could get fugazi. And I know it's crazy and it's funny and whatnot, but it's a madness. I hope Nuno, Kolasinac, Guendouzi, Alexis, hopefully they do their thing, man. And what I have liked is that we're picking better loan spells, man. You know, Brooke Norton Coffey went out on loan last season at Lincoln, looking to build on that at Rotherham. Obviously, Balogun, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. You know, he needs to keep, it's not just about scoring, it's about the general play and that. But you've got 5 goals. If you've got 20 appearances and 5 goals, that's not really much. So we've picked a good loan spell. I think he learned a lot under Chris Wilder, actually, when he weren't in the team, seeing the realities of football, you know. And sometimes Balogun, when he played against Spurs, Chelsea and United, he looked out of his depth. He's doing well now. Obviously, Saliba picked a good loan spell out in Marseille. I think Patino will have a good spell at Blackpool. It's completely left of the field, but you look at someone like Austin Tusty, he's having a good loan spell at Birmingham, and they're worshipping him, them fans there. So, yeah, man. And obviously, Tavares, it's not really what I want to see. What I mean by that is I love to see you getting confident, you're scoring goals, you're talking mad crud in the press conferences, but I know you can go forward. I know your strengths are going forward. You told us when you signed for Arsenal Football Club, I like to shoot with my right foot. You didn't say anything about defending or any single facet of defending. If you don't come back a better defender, it's a myth. You're playing as a wing back. Of course, you're going to, you know, you still have to defend, but the creative shackles have been freed from you. The problem for me with Tavares is if you could marry that going forward, refine it a bit, because sometimes I think he needs to pick a man with his cross, get a bit better defensively. You could come back a decent player, but that's a good loan spell. You know, if whether I want Balogun and Tavares and anyone on loan to make it here, but if these guys don't, hopefully we can make decent money on them, kind of following historically the Chelsea model. Really, you know, if Balogun turns into a £30 million player and we bring in a next striker, or Martinelli shows that he can be a striker as well as on the left, or we just don't, or Eddie does a madness, it is what it is. Balogun can leave with his head held high, come from the academy, playing in the top division, move on, keep it moving. And I'm not saying Balogun, but not everyone can be part of the journey. Some men are going to be part of the journey for the duration. Some men are going to be on a couple of seasons. And I think when you look at, with Nelson's contract, when you look at, I think Nelson could have, but when you look at Nelson, when you look at what we could have got for Maitland-Niles, when you look at Joe Willock, 30 million, sometimes you just have to do that quickly. Just take the P's and go. Obviously, the first job of the academy is to progress into the first team, but if not, make some P's. Ornstein's reporting Chelsea have an agreement with Zidane. Bracy. Imagine being managed by Zidane. You must be gassed. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards. Trust me. And if they can't beat him, just kick lumps out of them. Crazy. ADG, you read Paul Davis' book? I haven't. Wondering if it's worth read. Hearing there's some good points about black players / people in sport. Don't mean to spam too many typos in the last post. Nah, man, but I'll definitely get it. And then when I read it, I'll tell you what. Go on. Who would you say has been our best keeper from the Emirates era? Could you argue Ramsdale through a short tail of time? He's up there. I don't think we've had decent keepers, really. I'd say Fabianski when he left in the FA Cup run. I did like Chesney, but he was a bozo. Almunia shit, Ospina shit. Lehman was falling off them times. Ball's kind of on the floor, really. Leno wanted to cut out, though. I would love Nelson to get a chance, man. But at some point, until I see anything different, it's over now, innit? And even he had a decent... It didn't start well, but he had a decent loan spell towards the end at Feyenoord, and injuries have stopped him again. No one likes sitting on the bench, and some of our players are better off on loan than sitting on our bench. However, we need them impact players off the bench. Eddie's doing that right now. Amazing point. Facts. Upon more facts. Zidane bringing Vinny to the bridge. I mean, unpopular opinion, Ramsdale's looked better since he signed for the club. You know, and I expect that from a 24-year-old. I like Ramsdale. He makes saves. He's got good character. His position, sometimes he's the last line of defense, and we could have stopped a goal, but sometimes the near post, the far post, I think even the Anthony goal, but I think he's made his mind up. And I look at the goals. Was it Maddison's goal against Leicester? Again, he's the last line of defense, but he could have done a bit better. You know, he's 24. He's even more of a baby for a young keeper. As much as I like him, he's obviously not a single player hasn't got faults in that team. There's not a single world-class player within that team. So they all have to, you know, do their thing. You've got potential. You have to go through the tough moments. You're not going to be this tried and untested goalkeeper and then be an England international, or be Lokonga, talked about being Yaya Toure by a company and get there overnight. You're not just going to wake up. There's many tough periods. You know, Yaya Toure had to go Olympiacos and all them things there before obviously it worked for him at Barca and he came and bullied the league. It takes time. Really takes time. But unfortunately, managers, players, in today's day and age, there's no such thing as time, really and truly. I personally think Tavares' move was to make him a sell prospect in the summer, not to keep him as left back. I agree, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I'd love for you to come back and be part of the first team, because if we could have Zinchenko able to play there, obviously Tierney and him, it'd be great. But as I always say, and you're here all the time, you've heard me say it numerous times, turn that 8 million into 16 plus. Everyone's a winner, innit? Sell on clause, we keep it moving. 4 more likes until 200, folks. One love. Ramsdale does the simple things bad and the difficult things amazingly well, and he's going to have to learn. I don't know about Alan Smith screaming at Ramsdale. Why is Leno chatting crud talking about politics kept him out of the Arsenal team? Why do keepers leave Arsenal for small clubs and start barking? I don't know, but he's justified. I don't think he said anything wrong. There's politics in every club. Really? Have you spoken about tomorrow's game? Not really, but I'm kind of waiting. We'll probably preview it tomorrow. I'm kind of waiting for Mikel Arteta's press conference. I think tonight Nuno will have a reality check to humble himself. Well, boy, whether it's Kulusevski or whoever, you're going to learn, innit? You're going to have to learn how much time you think Ramsdale needs. Time is I don't know. He's going to have to learn quick. You know, in the short term, you can improve certain things, but in the long term, you're still on that journey. Tavares already believes in his own hype. He'll never get better defensively, in my opinion, because he's all about attacking. Did the club provide an update on Emil? To my knowledge, no. But you'd imagine when Mikel Arteta, I don't know when, but when he does speak in the press conference, we'll know, innit? But until then, I know what you lot know, really. But yeah, it's nice to see the young players, them getting confidence out there on loan, doing what they need to do, and keeping it moving, really and truly. If I'm honest. I hope Arsenal's outcast smash them, man. But honestly, I think Spurs are going to run riot over Marseille, if I'm completely honest with you. I can't lie to you. I hope not. I do, every now and again, people remind everybody of Conte's shaky record in Europe. As an Arsenal fan, I hope it rings true. Every goal scored against us this season has been a result of our own errors. Cut them out and our defense will settle again. You're right. Old habits die hard. The warning signs have been there, even in the build-up when Eze missed against Crystal Palace. The goals we conceded against Leicester, the 3 we conceded against United, every goal's avoidable, but you get the point. The goal we conceded against Fulham. Did we concede against Villa? I'm pretty sure we did. That as well. I hope Tavares scores a banger. Rain moving crazy right now. Grey, rainy days are back in London town. Dark at 4 p.m. coming soon is what it is. So Arsenal fans have had a reality check and no, Jesus ain't the 20-plus goal scorer at Arsenal. He doesn't even get any service, to be fair. If only we had another striker 8 compete with Odegaard to show him we don't need his skills in front of goal. I don't know, man. What I do say is that people drop a level, man. Mudruk looks a mess. Looks a mess, sorry. Leno said he didn't believe that he'd finish his career at Arsenal and thought he would go to a bigger club. That window, Ramsdale came in. Crazy, man. Go eat, big man. You're right. Still, it's a food thing soon. Don't forget, 4:30, we're playing Football Manager, people. Then after that, Inter Milan versus Bayern Munich. And then tomorrow, it is Zurich against Arsenal. Villa was Douglas corner. Yeah, so we did concede. Avoidable. Come on now. We conceded directly from a corner. Whether Ramsdale's fouled or not, winter's coming. From a footballing point of view as well. Jesus don't get fed nothing. It's another case. Like Jesus, I love how Jesus plays. He works hard. He's able to play well without scoring and things like that. But there's no service. United, what did he have to work with? I shout out my guy T. Been rocking with DG from when he was recording from an iPhone. My G, big up each and every time. My guy. DG taking Damari if he plays for Jamaica. If you could keep either Saka or Nelly throughout their career, who are you going? Oh, you can't do that, man. Martinelli's Brazilian. Saka because he's A-Lend, man. Our strikers will never thrive till we get an 8. Simple as. Hayes, this is just another Firmino, man. He's not a bagsman. I think he could be a bagsman, but you're going to drop a level. You ain't got the service that City has. Same way Sterling might still score goals, but you're going to drop a level. It's like Ozil coming to Arsenal from Real Madrid. You're only as good as... You have to hold yourself accountable, but at the same time, you're only as good as what's around you. There's no service. There was no service for Lacazette. There was no service for Aubameyang. Historically, you lot have that. Big up T. T said he's been following me for how long? He can verify this. How many times did I sit here and say it's a miracle Aubameyang that scores these goals for Arsenal because he's not got no service? It's been a long time since I would say a striker beyond the obvious enjoys playing for Arsenal. There's no service. You're getting minuscule chances. I believe Hayes has the facilities to score 20-odd goals, but will he? I don't know. And I think, obviously, it's your fault if you don't because you're going to play enough games, but you're only as good as what's around you, man. He looked very frustrated against United. He had a good little battle with Lissandro and Varane and things like that, but he was moving in other areas. I know he does it anyways because he's not getting the ball. It's like when we played Bournemouth. Is it Christian Moore? 6 foot plus. He needs it on his head. He's trying to cross the ball. When strikers do that, they're frustrated. Look at Jesus when he popped that lovely pass for Eddie before I think Varane cut it out. No one did that for him. It's crazy. I mean, all strikers miss. You know that with Aubameyang. It's about spam chances. Strikers are gonna miss. No one's perfect. Man are gonna miss. Unless you're Lionel Messi or Ronaldo historically, and at the same time, they're human. And people are gonna miss. People are gonna make mistakes. Score 20 league goals. What is our starting 11? I don't know. I don't know for tomorrow. I don't know, bro. It's exactly. DJ, I know he's your fellow yard man, but Sterling ain't all that. Lesser that. Sterling is lesser that. Premier League legend, 100-goal club, won the Premier League. They said he was just another Aaron Lennon. Longevity, had a good tournament in not the Euros necessarily that's just gone, but the last tournament for England. Lesser that. Household name. Sterling to the world and back. I know he plays for the Twats, but lesser that. Sterling's lit. Lesser that. You would love to have him at Arsenal. Cut that out. Sterling's lit. Elite movement. You know, he might run like Shelley and Fraser, but he's lit. Less of that. No slander. Shout out him, Leon Bailey, Bobby Reed, Mikel Antonio, and the rest of them. Less of that. Less of that. Less of that. I'm not hearing it. You're talking to a brick wall. I can't even lie to you. Less of that. Less of that. I ain't even reading the rest of that paragraph. You lost it, man. Less of that, man. Less of that. Bro, you could be a Chelsea fan, blood. I support Raheem Sterling, fam. I don't care. You could be a Chelsea fan, blood. He was the only one trying to mash work, really, yesterday. You could do up that. Don't forget later today, people. It's Inter versus Bayern. You can support whatever you want. Big up you for being tuned in, man. The only time I hate Sterling is when he plays against our. And Rodgers tried to kill my man's career when he was managing Liverpool, and he bounced back. Less of that. Less of that. They need to put more respect on the channel's name. Sterling is quality. What he's man talking about. Saka is the current best Highlander, but Nenny looks to have the highest potential. With Odegaard, it's super tricky. It is, man. But that should be his bread and butter, a tapping like that. Any one of us would have scored. He meant to be a poacher. I mean, I guarantee if you got 20 chances in the Premier League, 20 tappings, you would miss a lot of them. Let's be real. Let's be real. He is a striker, but how many chances does he get in a game? Are we just going to focus on the one he misses? I know that's how football is, but come on. Give him bare service, he'll score. Salah misses bare, or historically missed bare. Out of a perfect 25-man squad, how many players do you think we are away from? I don't know, with the exception of Matt Turner, because he's not been given a chance, but I'll give him a chance. But for right now, I don't have concerns. So I'll say goalie, say centre-back. I want another left-back. I want another right-back. I want 3 centre mids, ideally 2/3, 2 8s and a 6. So I think that's 7 or 8 names. Rant said if Saka was at left-footed, he would be Ainsley Maitland now as well. That's the case of if your mum had a willy, she'd be a dad, isn't it? He hasn't, has he really? Saka isn't the sauciest baller alive, but he's doing all right, man. Who cares? Big up Rant still, but who gives a flying monkeys, man? DJ is living off that banger he scored years ago. He ain't good at ball like that. That's hard. Should rise up your goals then. I'd rather be a 1-goal wonder than never did it. Would you rather have intimacy with Beyonce once than never did it? Or I'll be telling the world respectfully. Like, bro, you've never did it. You've never did it. You're my guy, but you've never did it. But we get it. The industry we live in, as I was saying with the players, you lot are allowed to talk. Calmer. And you're chatting shit because I've scored bangers. They've not been recorded. Big up Barnet Salsa. Where's the Barnet Salsa players? Go and tell them about the rippage I did from right wing a few months ago. I smashed it top bins with the left. Saka ain't got nothing on that. Go and tell them about the drillings. I love it. I'm just a right back, bro. Just a fullback, cuz. Ainsley ain't bad. He's not particularly good. I said midfield. You're not a sod. You muppet. No, it's all love, man. You stick to the commentary thing. Let the drillers drill in it. All right, man. I love you guys, man. You ain't watching Napoli, Liverpool. You lot are making me want to move half-hearted, Into Bayern. I want to see Mane, though. But Napoli's the home side, isn't it? You lot are making me want to switch up the plans now, man. Especially with Liverpool's injuries. That could be interesting for the neutrals still. I can't wait to see Vieira either, man. Do you think if we signed Isaac in Jan, we would be doing up Tuesday and Wednesday nights right now? Big up Hayes the same way. Probably. Probably. One player can't change all our plans. Man still got to be able to defend. To be fair, when we went to Newcastle away, he seems to like scoring for them. Do you see a big club, Chelsea or Liverpool, going for Ivan Toney? Yeah, if Brentford don't price him out of a move, and the way he's moving, I don't mind. Glenn Johnson had a good career. I'll take that. He scored bangers as well. I don't mind that at all, lad. I do not mind that. Napoli, Liverpool could be king, though. Could be long. I think you meant. I mean, if anything, I'll watch it on TV and we'll pull up a stream. Best of both world settings, man. You lot are putting doubt in my mind, man. You lot are putting doubt in my mind. Have we got 200 likes? Yeah, we have. And with that job done, people, again, you know, I'm going to go eat my dinner. I said dinner, my lunch. I'll be back again. First other live stream be at 4:30, people, you know, so make sure you're here for my Football Manager heads. That's only on Twitch. So you're going to be shagging yourselves if you try to turn up on YouTube. Tomorrow is obviously Arsenal versus Zurich. And then obviously today, final bit of content from me will be Inter Milan against Bayern Munich. Again, that could change because you lot are putting doubt into my mind. But yeah, man, appreciative of you lot's talking points, sharing your time with me, all of those good things, super chats, all of these things across Twitch and YouTube is appreciative to have this community. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Journey to 50,000, we're almost there. I see one last question. I don't want to leave no one. Don't you think Arteta slips up with the team picking at times? Because I do. Yeah, no managers without faults, of course. Of course. So, yeah, on that note, you lot stay blessed, stay safe. We've literally been here for 2 hours now. So, yeah, man, enough of my voice, man. You know, Gally, you're welcome to hear. But, man, them pretty sure you're getting tired of it. So, yeah, you lot stay blessed, stay safe. One love.
Because you always use that active red flag defending. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red flag defending. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red flag defending. I think it's like.